Welcome in, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Happy Tuesday to you. Let's get your heads right. And, man, the chat, you had me all nervous. I was looking at the YouTube chat. There was nobody there, and then all of a sudden it just blows up. It's like they have their alarm set for 5:58. But I was in there, I was in there at 4 a.m. this morning. 4:04 is when I walked in the door today. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Rindo, the EP, executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
5:04, I think, was when I walked in.
Yep. Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, 5:33 for Benjamin.
I woke up. First thing I do when I get up, probably like most of us nowadays, is I reach over for my phone and I open up Twitter just to see if anything has happened while I was sleeping. And the first tweet I saw was a picture of our studio clock. I know it well.
4:04.
As I have to stare at it for 4 hours every single day.
Yep.
And it was a picture that you took at 4:04 a.m. And I was wondering, I know he gets here early, but why would Woods be here so very early this morning in an empty building? It's possible, just so both of us, just so he can lord over us the fact how early he gets here and how well prepared he is for the show.
Pictures of how late I stay.
I also feel like that wasn't the reason, though. I feel like there was another reason you were here so early.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with you guys. I was woken up again, 2:35 in the morning. Your old pal Wood's not going to be around much longer, based on the quality of sleep and sleep that I get. I'm going to drop dead at some point. I would guess in the next 2 years if I keep up this routine. So it's been nice knowing you guys. It's been fun. Really enjoyed trying to entertain people. But it's just not it's not tenable. It's not a tenable situation. You can't live on 3 hours of sleep, 3.5 max. You just can't do it. So
I've done it for years.
You can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do it. I think when you fall asleep,
tell me more.
I think when you fall asleep, you get REM sleep. I do not.
I'm out like a light.
I get none. Zero. 4 minutes a night of REM sleep. I'm at my wit's end.
You think it's because you've got kids? That is stressful, having the young kids.
It's because I have a spouse that gets up at 1 o'clock in the morning. There's no question about it.
You have a big house. Maybe you ought to sleep in separate bedrooms.
Maybe I should sleep in another state, because that's what I'm considering today, is if I will live in another state at this point and do maybe afternoons somewhere. Yeah, man, it's just kicking my ass, dude. It's very, very tough. Somebody said I should go to one of those sensory deprivation tanks. If I could get one in my house, I would do it. I would absolutely do it.
Sponsor alert. Sponsor alert.
Anyone have a sensory deprivation tank that I can move into my home and just, all right, that's it, and just get inside? It's just untenable, man. It's not a situation for me that works anymore. I'm just cash.
So you can't sleep through someone waking up.
Benny, if we're all right, so let's say this is my bedroom. Okay, this is our bedroom, or my bedroom. And I hear this from the other room. I'm dead asleep, and I hear this. I'm up.
Just tiny noise
the
like
tiniest effing noise. Like, here, again. What? I'm up. So it's not, like, people are like, oh, man, this guy says, I've done it my whole Army career. And I'm like, well, I mean, if it works for you, great. What I'm telling you is it doesn't work for me. I don't sleep well. I don't sleep long. It's just not working.
Earplugs.
So, try it.
Mask.
Try it. Got it. Got it all. Ambien. Name it. The next thing is like I don't know, 6 whiskeys or something.
Heroin.
Just heroin, maybe, Paulie. I mean, just pass out. So, Andros says, my body is telling me that I don't need to sleep. That's false. It's absolutely false, man. Anyway, so that's why I got it. Once I am up, I'm like, well, I'm up. I might as well go in and see if I can whip up any magic here in the studio. I was not able to. So
We did not.
we did not whip up any magic, but you never know till you go in there. So yeah, man, it's today is somebody made the point. The start of a new winning streak starts today. Do we kiss this roach or do we smash this dude into 1,000 pieces? I still don't know. I'm going to give how about this?
Last time we kissed it on Friday, they won.
Okay,
so I have no problem kissing
give this
the roach.
little turd one more shot.
won.
They have the best record since we started kissing the roach in baseball.
It's been unreal since the roach came in.
I've lost the roach.
All right, now that means you stomp it out. But listen, despite despite my tiredness, I am very happy to be here. I'm excited about our show today. We have something a little different coming up in just the next segment. And I had the chance to watch American Sports Story Aaron Hernandez. And I was struck immediately with the performance of Josh Rivera, who plays Aaron Hernandez. And we're going to be joined by him and one of the producers, Stu Zickerman,
I think so.
is going to be joining us in the next segment. But it's one of those docu-series dramas. It's going to be airing on FX, and it starts
A week from today.
a week from today.
The best
Set your
comparison.
DVRs.
It's a Ryan Murphy directed docuseries.
That's how Bo would say his name.
Murphy.
Oh, Ryan Murphy. Yeah, Ryan Murphy.
And it's like a biopic. It's a dramatization. It's not a documentary that you've seen. Like Netflix had a huge 3-part
was
documentary,
great.
which was really good.
Yep.
This is totally different. It's supposed to be different. The best comparison would be it's the same
OJ.
people that did the OJ one where Cuba Gooding Jr.
So good,
played
man.
OJ. And,
So good. Did we all not love that one?
who was
I
it?
mean, I loved it.
Ross.
Ross was Kardashian.
Kardashian.
It was brilliant.
I'm curious, though, if it's more of a authentic dramatization or more like the Winning Time Lakers, where the people involved would
authentic.
go, "This wasn't. No, that's not how it happened. That's not. This is all just made up for drama for television purposes." And I'm going to ask the Stu, the producer, like how close to reality did you try to keep it, or how much did you try to pizzazz it up for entertainment value?
I mean, I think there's always a little pizzazz you have to add and kind of take some stretches on some storylines. But I think the bare bones, if you watch the documentaries, and I think, did you watch the Aaron Hernandez docs?
I did see some of those, yeah.
Yeah, so it stays pretty true to that and uses a lot of stories that, like, his brother wrote a book, too, that's really telling. And talking about his sexuality and where he was with that. Mm-hmm. And that's a big player in this series as well. And I again, had the chance to do the advanced screening on it. And it's staggeringly good. And this guy, Josh Rivera, was so good, man. I just can't tell you, again, this performance.
That's what fascinates me the most. I'm very excited that we were able to get him on the show.
Yeah.
Because, from what I've been told, he's not much of a football guy. He didn't play a ton of football. He wasn't a big sports guy.
Wait till I ask him about his background in acting, and
He's
you're going to be
actor.
really surprised.
And I'm like, dude, how do you prepare to
Dude,
play
yes.
a murderer?
Yes.
A crazy
sociopathic.
person?
Yep, 100%.
I mean, we all know the story, and I'm like, dude, that's gnarly to prepare for a role like that.
I can't wait, and I hope we can get to keep him on for a little bit of time because we're going to do that in the next segment. So we're actually going to break a little bit early so we can knock that out. It's the only time they had available. And then we will get into some of the other...
Hey, no Padres last night? It
No
worked out
Padres,
great.
yeah, 100%. So I hope everyone enjoyed a peaceful night at home. Just hate watching other teams like I did. And watching some Monday Night Football. We'll talk about that. Thanks so much to the 49ers for your transparency. Really, really
we
cool.
will definitely
Really
talk
cool.
about
Thanks so
fantasy
much.
football carnage.
It's not just fantasy.
Last night.
Yeah, it's so much that went into that last night. So we'll talk about all of that and then some this morning here on Ben and
All
Woods.
right, I don't mind changing things around a little bit. So a little early
Switch it
break.
up.
Kelly's traffic, and then we'll come back with Josh Rivera, star, and Stu Zickerman, producer of the new Aaron Hernandez movie coming to FX. Next on Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Still very impressed that you got an advanced screener just for you with your name watermarked on it.
It was a cool thing.
To make sure it couldn't leak out to anyone else.
It's only the second time I've ever had that. I got an advanced screener of Birdman, which was the Michael Keaton movie.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and I felt like I had made it at that point. And but man, I was happy to get. I love the 10-parter. To be able to binge that, and it's just excellent.
So the problem is when I get super excited for a show, it's like 4 episodes or 3 parts or something.
Yes.
You're like, I need more.
I gotta have more, and this one does not disappoint.
Now, the reason you got that screener is because we got some special guests on early today, and joining us right now, the star of American Sports Story, Aaron Hernandez, playing Aaron Hernandez in the limited FX series, debuting next week. We've got Josh Rivera with us. Josh, good morning to you.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Really good.
Doing great.
And we
man.
also have the producer of the program, American Sports Story, Aaron Hernandez. Stu Zickerman is here. Stu, also welcome.
Hey, guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
It's great to have you guys. I wanted to start with Josh. Got to watch the entire series. Blew me away. And I think when I found out kind of your background, this was quite a departure from West Side Story, right? I mean, you're West Side Story one day, and the next day you are a psychopathic, sociopathic football player that is literally high the entire series. I've never seen a human being smoke as much weed as your Aaron Hernandez did.
Yeah, we had this special herbal, it was basically like smoking tea leaves. And man, it tasted pretty bad. But it was quite a big departure, wasn't it? As far as genre and the kinds of things I had to do, which was a fantastic opportunity and a terrific challenge because obviously I'm always competing with myself. I'm trying to one up myself with everything I've done previously, and so this was a great opportunity for me to just do something completely different and flex some different muscles. So yeah, I'm really happy you enjoyed it, man. That means a lot.
I did. Very, very much.
Yeah, Stu, these sports dramatizations have become really big. The OJ, the Lakers series on HBO. My question to you is, when you take something from real life and turn it into somewhat a dramatization, how close were you trying to remain to the real life events and what we knew about the Aaron Hernandez story?
Well, I mean, I think what's amazing about the Hernandez story is we don't really know that much, right? I mean, we've seen the documentaries and we've read the articles, and all they can do is speculate. No one really knows what was going on, and no one really knows why Aaron, did some of the things he did, killed Odin Lloyd. It's such a mystery. And I think, what's great about doing a show like this, and the reason to do a show like this is, we in the writer's room can sort of get together and take everything we know about it and all the research and try and connect the dots and try and come up with answers and take the audience, into the room where Aaron asks Belichick for a trade, or out to the quarry where Aaron and Odin were, and we can take you there and try and sort of piece the whole thing together in a more complex way.
Yeah, no question about it. And I thought, I didn't look at it and say, man, I've seen them take a lot of liberties here. It all stayed fairly true to what I had seen in the past. And joined by Josh Rivera, who played Aaron Hernandez, and Stu Zickerman, the producer, one of the producers from the new Aaron Hernandez movie coming out on FX, debuts next week. Josh, another question for you. I'm looking at you now. You've probably had to drop some pounds. But I know you had to put on about 30 pounds of muscle, and you had to add the tattoos. Can you tell us about the process of adding all that muscle? Because I would like to do that. And then also getting those tattoos put on you every day. What was that experience like?
Yeah. So I'll start with kind of the fitness regimen, because what was really cool about that is that I had been in Hunger Games just before that, and I had to slim down for that because the Hunger Games, and so I was at the lightest that I'd ever been at that point. So I really wanted to get back in shape anyways, and the fact that it was company subsidized was really great. But there's no sexy Hollywood secret, man. To be honest, they hooked me up with a trainer. And I just worked out every day. I would probably 5 days a week. And I guess the only thing special about it was I had a nutrition help where it was just kind of eating clean food, but like a ton of it, like a ton of food. I have never before, like I got a big appetite. I've never been in a position where I did not want to eat and I had to make myself eat before. It was pretty bizarre. But yes, I put on a ton of weight in like 3 months. It was like carrying around a whole different body. It was pretty wild. And the tattoos, we had a special effects person. His name's Dave Presto. He's my favorite guy. I love that dude. He's got like 11 Emmys or something crazy, but he drew all the tattoos and he was able to reference a lot of the chronology of, because he starts with only a few, Aaron does,
Yeah.
and then it eventually becomes huge sleeves and body tattoos. So he drew these and made kind of these stencils that he was able to piece together in different ways on my arms. And what I would have to do in the trailer is I had these basically like gymnastic handles that I would hold on to for hours. For hours I had to do this, and they would put all the tattoos on. We would put on like movies and stuff like that. The whole thing took about like 3 to 3.5 hours every day.
My
It
God.
was pretty wild.
Well, first of all, I'm stunned because every other tweet is the secret Hollywood stars don't want you to know about getting in shape, and you just told us there's no secret. You just have to work hard.
No, they're liars. They're liars.
Well, Josh, how about the football part of it? Because when we watch you line up, when we watch you running routes, when we watch you, I'm assuming making at least some of these catches that you had to make, taking hits, things like that, it looked to be a little bit grueling. How does one prepare for that?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. So I have a little bit of a football background, but I've never been tight end. I was a guard and a linebacker. So I have stone hands. I can't catch for garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to do, like, while I was working out during pre-production, I did a lot of work with some of the football coordinators to get those stances to look natural and to get those routes to look natural, working on my receiving skills and all of that stuff. And there was about a week towards the beginning, a lot of the less contact stuff is me, and some of the quick routes you can see my face and stuff like that. All the cool stuff, like the really, really cool looking stuff, that's probably somebody else, to be honest. But because there was 1 week or like a span of a couple days while we were doing some of the Florida football where I was like, I'm doing the football. Like, I played football. I'm a football player. I gained 30 pounds. Like, I can do this. And oh my gosh, I got the crud kicked out of me that day. I remember the next day my bones were hurting. Everything was hurting. Like, my eyeballs were hurting. I was like, man, get my stunt double in there. This is crazy.
100%.
Talking to actor Josh Rivera, producer Stu Zickerman from the American Sports Story, Aaron Hernandez, debuting on FX next week. And Stu, I want to ask you about the casting process. Not just Josh, but you're casting, people who we know in real life, like Bill Belichick and Urban Meyer
Tim
and
Tebow.
Tim Tebow, who I just saw is Arnold Schwarzenegger's son. How do you pick people that are going to be convincing to an audience that already knows these people in real life?
Yeah, again, it's a challenge. I think that I've always felt like when I watch a show like this, because I'm a big sports fan, I watch a show where someone's playing someone, I never think they look exactly like them at the first second, but very quickly, if it's good, like, I forget about that because the person sort of embodies the part, and I think that for us, we were just looking for people that could sort of like dimensionalize these characters, the Belichick one's like the best example. It's because like that's a hard part to write.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time in the writers' room thinking about like how do we write Belichick? It's like everything about him. He's so private and he's kind of curmudgeon-y, and like that's not going to be fun for an audience to watch. So like you have to think about how you're going to sort of bring these people to life, and then you have to cast it with actors. Our actor who plays Belichick just ran to the role, and just sort of like filled it up with air, and you sort of hope all your actors do that. And I think that when actors sort of like Josh was, Josh always says, it's like when you embody the role and you make it your own, I think the audience very quickly kind of forgets what they're looking at, and they just start watching and rooting for the character.
That's a really good point that you make, and I thought the guy that played Urban Meyer, I forgot. I just assumed after a couple of episodes, I'm watching Urban Meyer in a hospital bed, talking to his wife. That's what I pictured. And Josh, last one for me. So I got to imagine when you do your research and learn more about the Aaron Hernandez character. Look, man, I don't know that sympathetic is the word that I feel for him, but I do. When you kind of put the pieces together with him, I go, okay. I mean, it explains a lot. And where do you think he kind of lost his way? Was it high school? Was it Florida? Was it the NFL? And we talked about it a little bit on the show yesterday. All of the steps that everyone took to ensure, like, he stayed out of trouble. None of it worked. I mean, he was just kind of a lost soul from the very beginning. So when you played him, did you find yourself connecting with him at all, or feeling sympathetic? Because I'm telling you, with the performance you laid out there, it had my mind spinning a little bit.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you felt that way, because that means I did my job correctly. Just because approaching something, I try to approach everything from an actor's standpoint. Like, part of my job, a really huge component is to have empathy for the person that I'm playing.
Sure.
And if we're talking about the reality of it, like, the facts are the facts. Like, I don't have a huge amount of sympathy for the situation, but when I'm approaching it from a character lens, like, I have to make this like a realized whole person. And when you're talking about where he lost his way, obviously, like, a lot of people have speculations. My personal belief is, I think it started to go downhill once and this was reinforced when I was able to watch the show. There's a specific moment where he realizes that he just got away with something for the first time. And you see the cinematography in that scene is really powerful, because you can just see it register that he doesn't play by the same rules as everybody else, and that dawns on him. And I think things just get worse and worse from there, because when you compound that realization with kind of a degenerative brain, or with a myriad of other issues that he's running into in his life, any normal person would be at least a little bit swayed by the premise of, by the what's the word, whatever, by consequences. But he knows early on that he doesn't have to face those. He doesn't play by the same rules because he's really good at football and everybody wants to see him win. I think that was a pretty huge contributor.
Well, we're very excited about American Sports Story, Aaron Hernandez. Gentlemen, thank you for your time. Let's get on with the hard work of promotion now after you put it all together. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, guys, thank you for watching. We really appreciate it.
Our pleasure, man. Thanks so much.
Thanks,
Great
dude.
job.
Thank you. Josh Rivera, American Sports Story, Aaron Hernandez, set to premiere September 17th. That is 1 week from today on FX. And how many episodes is it? 10? 10 episodes.
Brilliant.
Not really set up for a season 2, I would think.
No, I think season 2 is not in the cards, but the guy's performance, you'll see. I mean, what a great dude, number one. You can just, see what a great guy he is. And then to watch his performance, the transformation into this absolute, sociopath is really dynamic. It's really well done. It's, like you said, a dramatization, but he crushes it.
I was just hanging up with them on Zoom, and they were still hearing you talking about, like what a great dude. Like, what a great performance. And he was just raising his arms.
He did, man.
He
knocked it out of the park.
I mean, that's got to be so much fun. This part of the job, like, the job's not over once you cut the final scene.
Right.
The promotion, and I could hear them. They were talking about plans of when they're going to LA next for, like, Emmy stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's got to be the fun part. Like, that's all the hard work paying off.
I really liked his performance so much that, like, I don't know that I would go watch West Side Story before. No, now that he's in it, I'm like, all right, maybe I'll go watch West Side Story. I mean, he was brilliant in it.
And the process of having to get the tattoos.
I know the straps
every
he's talking
single
about.
day.
You know those? You just stick your arms through them and just
like
hang there. I mean, I can't even imagine. Also, like, 30 pounds of muscle. Holy smokes. That easy.
But they paid him to do it.
I know. Yeah, it's on the house. It's great.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's
good for
such a good movie. Such a good show.
a non-Padres morning when they didn't have a game last night. A fun way to start the show. We will talk some baseball coming up, but since we're already on Hollywood, A little shout out to his family.
Not
for
a little
an
one.
absolute legend.
Legend. I loved your tweet last night too. We can bring that back.
Thank you.
I think you're right on that.
Is it? Am I right? Is he the one person we can all agree on?
He's the one person I think that everybody can agree on.
I think so.
Who doesn't like James Earl?
Who
Who's
doesn't?
the edge? Who's the edge lord out there that's like, he's not that great.
That's coming up next with Benno Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball. America has rolled by like an army of steamrollers. It's been erased like a blackboard, rebuilt and erased again. But baseball has marked the time. This field, this game, is a part of our past, Ray. It reminds us of all that once was good, and it could be again. Oh, people will come, Ray. People will most definitely come.
It's
You don't even like that speech? It's overwrought, whatever. How can you not like the delivery? James Earl Jones is the one person that we could all agree on. Right?
It's like Padres and Dodger fans.
Yeah.
The Crips and the Blood. Everybody agrees that James Earl Jones was an absolute treasure and an artist. Gee, I mean, to the very end. What a part of all of our youths. Doesn't matter that we're 15 years apart, Paulie. He was a part of your youth, as well as mine and Ben's.
Oh, yeah.
You know, with Darth Vader, you know, Luke. Like, it's iconic. He's just an icon. And then yours.
Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him.
No, I am your father.
It just blows your mind. Our youth, your youth, Paulie, with like Lion King and stuff. I mean,
Look, Simba, everything the light touches
my kids'
is
youth.
our kingdom. A king's time as ruler rises and falls like the sun. One day, Simba, the sun will set on my time here and will rise with you as the new king.
I mean, as iconic and as long of a career as he had, yeah, I was born in 1990.
Right.
Lion King, I want to say 92, 93. Like, it was one of my first movies that I just loved. The Sandlot, you know, he was in that one. Of course. And you're just like, man, he's iconic.
Iconic. Yep. 100%.
Absolutely iconic.
100%. And yeah, I saw that news come down yesterday. It was just kind of like oh man, 93 years old. Tip of the hat to you, sir, for a long, really fruitful life, certainly. And I would say, for me, for my money, I'd say the best pipes of all time.
I tend to agree.
I was going to tweet it yesterday, but I thought, all right, Woodsy, this is a knee-jerk reaction. Whose pipes are better than James Earl Jones? And I sat there and I went, man, there's some good ones. You know, there's some good pipes out there.
There are. Benedict Cumberbatch has a really good voice, but not as good as James Earl Jones.
No, I'm trying to think of best pipes of all time.
I mean, Morgan Freeman's on there.
Morgan Freeman's his delivery as well, but James Earl Jones with the deep and rich. That's your finger.
Mean, even watching the news growing up, this is CNN.
Yeah.
That was him. That was him.
him.
That was James Earl Jones.
King Joffrey Joffer in Coming to America, one of my favorite characters with the giant lion's head around his body. You've seen Coming to America, right? The original.
Yes.
Okay. So brilliant career. Was very bummed to see it yesterday, but 93 it's a good run, my friend. A very, very good run. So you know how we do it on this program.
And I really hope we can see more unity and more peace when already things are so difficult. So, shout out to his family.
And good news here. Julian reminded us in the chat, as Paulie reminded me and Ben, that Disney actually licensed his voice to use pretty much whenever they want. So we will definitely get more James Earl Jones as time passes. I don't really know how I feel about that.
Like AI James Earl Jones?
Yeah, I think that's the thing.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that either.
I don't know how to feel about it. When in reality, like,
or is it like they licensed it to Lucas, then now Disney, and like Darth Vader will always be James Earl Jones?
Like, if
I don't know that we're gonna get a new
Darth Vader stories.
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, he was never the guy in the Darth Vader suit.
No, it was a different guy.
That was a different actor.
Yeah,
David Prowse.
Mm-hmm.
But it was his voice.
But he's really, really great. But I don't know how to feel if it's AI.
It would have
James
been
Earl
weird
Jones.
if they'd taken off the helmet and Luke's father was James Earl Jones.
Yeah, not impossible, but
I guess not.
Not impossible, but it would have been a little bit different. Paulie, do you have that clip?
I do.
Okay, so yesterday, my friend Jack, it was actually Jack's idea. I want to give him credit. He goes, dude, tomorrow, I'm assuming you're going to do shout out to his family for James Earl Jones. I said, yeah, at prime time. There's no Padres game. So
Shout out to his family.
we're going to mess around a little bit. He said, have Paulie run that through a Darth Vader filter. I go, it's a great idea. So I sent it to Paulie. I said, try to run that through a filter. Paulie sent it back to us. And, it hasn't really caught up yet.
We don't have the same systems as Disney and Lucasfilms, apparently.
Yeah,
because
this would,
Or maybe James Earl Jones is just so good that AI can't handle him.
maybe they're like, it's too hard, but this
here's
is
Darth Vader filter.
Yeah.
Shout out to his family.
Excuse me? One more time.
Shout out to his family.
His family.
His family.
Hey, it's James Earl Jones. I'm from Wisconsin. How are you? Hey,
Shout out to his family.
people will come, Ray. I swear to God, they will. They will. People will come, Ray. Baseball continues to just move on at its own pace. So people will most definitely come, Ray. Hey, how are you? Hey, did she get that hot dog out of her throat yet? Where's Moonlight Graham? Hey, Dak, can you get over here and get that hot dog out of her mouth?
Shout out to his family.
It's the weirdest thing I have ever heard. Shout out.
That's the worst filter of all time.
It's literally the worst filter of all
I
time.
almost didn't even say
Did you find that under bad Star Wars filters?
It was like the first thing that
Hey,
popped
shout out to his family. What in the hell is going on in here, dude? Oh. Shout out to his family. Hey, how are you?
Shout out to his family.
Yeah, welcome to Chicago. Hey, how are you, James? Rest in peace.
Oh, God.
Had more Dan Aykroyd than
Yeah, it's
James
more
Earl
Dan
Jones.
Aykroyd. God. Well, so if that's what we have to look forward to, then I'm going to pass, okay, on the whole thing. Hey, how are you, Ben? I know you want to talk Padres and all your math that you did last night.
I do want to.
I know you do.
I had a purpose for it.
I know you did.
Do you know what my purpose was?
To enrage me.
No, that was not my purpose. I was trying to calm everybody down a little bit, and
Didn't
I
work.
succeeded. So with some people, I succeeded. Talk about that coming up right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by California Department of Transportation. Just one problem to mention here, guys. Fire crews are responding to a small fire northbound side of the 5 right before E Street. Got the right lane blocked, so just watch out for a little activity there. That, again, is northbound 5 before E Street. Eastbound Interstate 8 will close from Jackson Drive to Route 67 from 9 p.m. Friday, September 13th through 5 a.m. Monday, September 16th. Follow the detour signs on Route 125 if you're in the area and give yourself more time to reach your destination. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fan is presented by T-Mobile. Switch to T-Mobile. You can get tons of benefits, still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. Yeah, with no Padres game last night, it was full-on scoreboard watching and hoping for a little bit of help. And the Padres did get some from a pair of old friends, Ty France with an RBI double in the second inning, and Nick Martinez with 7 innings of 2-hit shutout ball as the Cincinnati Reds beat the Atlanta Braves 1-0. That knocks the Braves 2.5 games behind the Padres and a game behind the Mets, who pulled one out against the Blue Jays on a wild pitch and a pass ball in the 8th inning to get a 3-2 road win. So right now, Padres, 1.5 games up. Diamondbacks, a half game behind the Padres. Mets, 1.5 games behind the Padres. And the Braves, 2.5 games behind the Padres, with the top 3 advancing to the postseason at the end of the regular season.
Yeah, it was put on the end of that game, the Blue Jays game, and they had a runner on first.
Winning run at the plate.
Tying run on. Winning run at the plate.
2 outs.
2 outs. Edwin Diaz on the bump, and he hangs a slider, and this guy goes oppo, and he sends it back to the wall. And I'm like, here we go. Walk-off win. Right up against the wall, makes the catch. And I'm like, man, the Mets magic is
He
really
wasn't
happening.
quite Jackson Merrill in that situation.
No, and they're again they had the bases loaded and ended up scoring, like you said, on a pass ball and a wild pitch, and it was like, oh, okay, well, they're clearly going to win this game. And man, it was their magic is not seeming to dissipate right now.
But why I did so much math on Twitter last night, I really have seen a lot of nervous Padres fans coming out of the woodwork after just 2 losses in a row by your San Diego Padres. And, of course, the tightening of the wild card standings. And, they're the doomers. And, this is how it starts. And the Padres are heading toward a very bad place in which they're going to miss the playoffs. And and it is absolutely possible that the Padres can still miss the playoffs. They aren't guaranteed anything.
Many would say probable.
That is incorrect. That's
Many would say, not us. I'm not saying
that's
that.
what I wanted to point out.
Many would say.
So for the Padres to miss the playoffs at this point, they would have to be passed by all 3 of those teams that are behind them. Now, the Diamondbacks are only a half game behind. Padres play the Diamondbacks 3 times. Clearly, they could pass the Padres without too much consternation there. The Mets are only a game and a half back and have the tiebreaker on the Padres. So, yeah, there's a very realistic world in which if the Mets continue playing well, they could pass the Padres. But the Braves, that's especially after yesterday's loss, that's a little bit of a different story. Yes, they're only 2.5 games back, and there's 17 games to play. So there's time, especially if the Padres don't play well. But remember, the Padres own the tiebreaker over the Atlanta Braves, which means for the Braves to pass the Padres, they're going to have to win 4 more games than the Padres the rest of the way.
Okay.
4 more. So, for instance, if the Padres went 10-7 the rest of the season, which would be 7-7 and sweep the White Sox, for example, the Braves would have to go 14-4 to pass the Padres.
Okay.
And the Braves, by the way, still have 4 against the Dodgers, 3 against the Phillies, and 3 against the Mets.
I like that.
Which they can, they're at home. I mean, they can win some of those. Like I said, nothing is guaranteed. But the Braves would have to pretty much play out of their mind to get to 14-4, with the Padres just kind of playing okay at 10-7. Even if the Padres have their worst stretch of the year. By the way, I checked. Their worst 17-game stretch of the season is 6-11. It's when they had 2 5-game losing streaks at the beginning of June, won a few games in between. That's the worst they've done all year in 17. The Braves would still need a winning record to pass the Padres. They need to go at least 10-8 in their last 18 games to pass the Padres. So, yes, it's possible, but no, it's not like, oh, this is definitely about to happen. The Padres have a significant advantage here in this race toward the playoff spot and the wild card, at least over the Atlanta Braves at this point.
Which is really all you're just kind of worried about, the one team that could slide right in if you crumble or if you hit a bad stretch or whatever. But I do agree, you need to avoid that. You can't count on any wins. I mean, you look at the White Sox, they've won.
I'm sorry, did I say the Phillies? The Braves play. I just want to make sure I got this accurate. I put it down. The Braves play the Mets, the Royals, and the Dodgers,
okay.
not the Phillies.
Another
Royals,
good team.
yeah.
You just ruined my day.
Yeah, I was all excited for that.
But 3 playoff teams.
Yeah.
In their remaining 6 series.
The
Padres have Dodgers and Diamondbacks,
sure, and
Astros. So they have,
it's no joke.
I mean, it's similar, but the Padres are in a much better starting position
Correct.
than the Braves are.
Correct.
And they've got the White Sox too.
Yeah, you can afford. You can afford a series loss in there. Not that you want one. Not that you're going to. Not that any of us would be happy with that. But yeah, the games against the White Sox, Benny, you have to win all 3. They've won 33 games this year. You just have to. But again, they're in the best position you can be in sports. Is the ability to control your own destiny. You hear it all the time, but it is so true. You don't have to get help from other teams. Getting help is great. You got some last night. That's fantastic. But you win games, you will be in. It's that simple. We win, we take care of business.
Absolutely.
We're rolling.
If the Padres go 11-6, it's almost impossible for them to miss the playoffs at this point.
Right.
The Braves would have to play insanely well.
Almost
15-3.
undefeated, right.
With that schedule, that is all, and the injuries they've suffered, that is not really a feasible finish to the season. So, yeah, I mean.
Well, they would have to, completely tank and Arizona stays super hot
Right.
over the next 14.
No, they'd have to re-get hot because
Yes.
they're very average right now.
Like, they would have to
Arizona.
play out of their minds for
Yep.
the next 14, and we would have to be horrible over our next 14 for that last series, those last 3 games to not be for a playoff spot.
Correct. And what you kind of hope at a maximum it comes down to is, well, we're in, they're in. Let's see who plays at home, which is important. It's absolutely important. But hey, listen, if we get down to that point and that's all those 3 games matter, is seeding and where you play, I don't care. Good, we're in. As long as we make.
I think it's
very. Important. I want it here, of course.
It's a slight notch below getting in is having a home playoff series.
We play better on the road, which is fine. I dude, you know my stance. We get to hit first. Fine. We give up a lot of early runs. Let us. If we end up playing in Arizona, as bummed as I am about not going down there to the ballpark and being a part of the energy and being at a bar before the game and all that, yes, it's going to suck. Not going to be that upset. As long as they're in, if we happen to get first licks and our pitcher doesn't have to go out there and give up 2 runs in the first and we play from behind, I'm absolutely okay with it. I can make myself feel better if it's at home. I can make myself feel better if it's on the road. I'm in.
All I'm saying is I think 9-8 is probably good enough.
100%.
If the Braves went 12-6 and the Padres went 9-8, Padres are in the playoffs.
Yep.
So they'd have to, even if they won every series, that wouldn't be good enough if the Padres go 9-8, if they didn't sweep at least one of them. All right, we'll come back. We've got a little take on Woods for you, and let's talk about the Monday Night Football, fantasy football controversy last night as well. Next on 97.3 The Fan. So Woods got caught in the trap
The crossfire.
yesterday. Woods, you had the number 1 pick in our fantasy football league, our media/Padres league that we're in, and you logically, and I think justifiably, selected Christian McCaffrey, the reigning offensive player of the year in football, the guy projected to get the most points, and probably the number 1 pick in most fantasy football leagues. Who, going into the first week, there had been injury concerns, obviously, in training camp, but most reports had indicated that they expected CMC to be on the field for the San Francisco 49ers. Injury reports and such had led everybody to believe that. But when they got to, around, it was about 1 o'clock yesterday.
Was it that early?
I thought it was much later.
I
It was sometime in the afternoon.
later.
It was within 3 or 4 hours of game time, whenever it was. It was announced that when the inactives come out, it's about 3 hours before the game, I think. And he was going to be inactive, not in the lineup.
Couldn't have done anything anyway.
Well, that's the thing
Not in our league.
with fantasy football. Most leagues had they played on Sunday, maybe
easy.
Before other games had been locked in,
I got backups.
you could drop a backup, you could switch your lineup, put someone in. When there's
It was 4 o'clock.
when there's one game left though, and all your other guys have already played,
can't
your
drop
lineups are all
anybody.
locked. You can't drop anybody, can't add anybody, and you were out of luck.
Yeah,
you had to take a big goose egg
SOL.
from your number 1 running back position.
Sammy Levitt, congratulations! Took down the champ here. The first round, first pick in the draft. Sammy Levitt won pretty handily.
All 3 of us lost, right?
Yeah, very cool. Glad we did this.
Fantastic.
Yep.
And obviously, you can't necessarily fault the 49ers. It's not in their best interest to let the New York Jets know days and days in advance that one of their star players isn't going to be on the field. That's a competitive disadvantage. But when, so many people are investing so much time and, money into their fantasy football leagues, you're going to have a lot of upset fans out there when they find out at the last minute that their star player is not going to be able to be on their team this week.
The thing that panicked me even more than that was earlier in the day I had laid down a little wager on Niners minus 4.5. I thought this is going to be easy money. Well, and it turned out to be pretty easy money.
Well,
didn't really need him.
Because of his backup, Jordan Mason, who had a big game, close to 150 yards and a touchdown. But what he said afterwards, now the 49ers could have just said, hey, last-minute thing, Calf wasn't feeling it. We had to decide to deactivate Christian McCaffrey. But after the game, in a live interview on ESPN, Jordan Mason was asked, when did you know you were going to go? Like, yeah, they just told me, this morning that I was going to go. Friday night.
Friday night. It's
Friday
Monday.
night. So the 49ers have been hiding this from everybody all weekend. Didn't leak to any of the Adam Schefters of the world or Ian Rappaport's. None of them got wind. Nice buttoned-up ship that the 49ers run, that would not leak out to anybody.
Yeah.
That they knew for the last 3 days that Christian McCaffrey wasn't going to be playing in that game and that Jordan Mason was going to be starting.
Yep.
Plenty of time for everybody to
Make some
adjust their
moves.
fantasy football lineups and make some moves.
I wonder if the lines would have changed at
Absolutely.
all. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think
That's
bet,
definitely worth a point or two toward the Jets.
Well, I bet yesterday, too, when people saw the news, if they hadn't put a wager down and they saw that news, they're like, ooh, I'm going to get smart here and put some money on the Jets with Breece Hall and Aaron Rodgers back. And
I was wondering how that all affected the line.
yeah. So, again, good job to the Niners. Really good job. That's a well-run organization, being able to keep that under wraps. You didn't do me any favors, but you don't owe me anything either. So, it is what it is. As long as he comes back healthy.
Is this something the NFL needs to address, or is it like, hey, you play fantasy football, you're taking your chances? It's a form of gambling like anything else, and guess what? Bad luck happens in gambling all the time.
It does, but I do know this: the NFL is firmly in bed with gambling. Firmly, like they are next to each other, having breakfast in bed. So I do wonder if Roger Goodell got any salty phone calls about, hey man, they have to let us know. If they know 3 days in advance, there needs to be some sort of protocol because again, that's how we base our lines on the guys that are going to be.
There are injury protocols. That's why they have the doubtful, questionable, probable system that is supposed to be, fairly accurate and enforceable.
I get it, but it definitely would have changed some things. I would think.
Need a contestant for Take on Woods if you want to join us and take on Woods for a chance to qualify for a trip to Las Vegas. Speaking of gambling, 833-288-0973, our musical trivia game coming up in just minutes. 833-288-0973. Give us a call right now. We'll put you on hold, get you online as a potential contestant. I can't say that I was horribly disappointed to see Aaron Rodgers' return not go that well. Aaron Rodgers is a phenomenal talent. I actually enjoy watching. I have enjoyed watching him quarterback over the years.
It's funny you say
Aaron
that.
Rodgers off the field has become just kind of a nightmare, and it's turned me against him more in this last year.
It's so funny you say that because I'm like you, and I was probably more in his camp than you were. I liked part of his weirdness. There was something to it. It got a little ridiculous at times. That said, when he drops back to pass, still enjoy it very much. I still really enjoy watching him play the actual game of football. When he drops back, he had a pass. I don't remember who he threw it to, but it was Sammy's receiver. So he got a big gain. But he led him perfectly to where he didn't get his clock cleaned. And you see him, it was for a first down, and he gives it I like watching him play football.
Obviously, for a 40-year-old now,
Yeah.
he's still in phenomenal shape. But there is undoubtedly a dad playing with the kids vibe going on with Aaron Rodgers now out on the field.
100%.
I mean, these 22, 23-year-old rookies out there, and Aaron Rodgers is starting to go a little silver and just
a little gray.
Looks like he's from a completely different generation than most of the other players on the field at this point.
Yeah, I thought, and again, he didn't look terrible. He didn't look great. But it was.
Yeah, there were a couple missed passes.
He threw a pick.
Couple of good ones
Also,
as well
man,
that were on target.
Also, I mean, the Niners are really, really good. They're really good. Watching their defense is a thing of, if you like football, they're really fun to watch.
Week 1 overreaction. It already looks like it's going to be the Chiefs running away in the AFC and the 49ers running away in the NFC.
I don't know that that's an overreaction.
I think
Paul.
it's a good reaction.
That's pretty much what's happened every year the last couple of years.
They met in the Super Bowl last year, and I'm like, bro, they played without the best player in football yesterday.
Yeah.
They had, Brandon Ayuk missed a couple catches, and you heard Troy Aikman say, hey, that's what happens when you hold out.
Did you hear Peyton
Manning? You
Manning?
get a little rusty.
Did you hear Peyton Manning? Yeah, it was on the Manning cast. He was.
I was watching the Manning cast.
Well, no, it's on Twitter. He was hot. When Ayuk dropped that pass in the end zone, he dove for it. That's why you get in camp. That's why you get in camp early. Get your contract signed. Get in camp. He was hot. And look, you're Peyton Manning. They were like, hey, falling all over themselves to give you the deal that you wanted. You never had to worry
think about
this.
holding out.
But, man, I'm watching the Niners going, holy cow. George Kittle, so fun to watch. Brock Purdy is just as solid as it gets. Debo, so fun to watch. All those guys are fun to watch, and their defense, Fred Warner, those guys, they are a blast. I mean, they are Joey Bosa. Nick Bosa. They are a blast to
Kyle
watch.
Shanahan, creative offense. I mean, the jet sweeps to Debo. It seems like just a well-run team. And looking at their schedule, maybe one loss in the first 6 games. I mean, they got Minnesota, the Rams, the Patriots, the Cardinals, and the Seahawks coming up before a game against Kansas City on Sunday, October 20th.
Yep.
Which I'm sure will be one that everyone kind of
books.
circles on their calendars as a big October test for both teams and a potential Super Bowl preview coming up in October.
Yeah.
But the 49ers look good without Christian McCaffrey. Now, throw him into the mix and see how good they're going to be.
Hopefully he's just injured and in and out all year.
Yes,
That'd be super
for
fun.
your fantasy football pleasure.
I'm more upset with my Michael Pittman second-round pick after a 3-catch
I'm more
game.
upset with my Marvin Harrison Jr. pick. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Is that your first round?
No,
second round?
Second, I think.
Yeah.
Back into the second or start of the third, one of the two. Yuck.
No one cares about our fantasy.
No.
Literally nobody.
Well, you know what? Even if you lose at fantasy football, you did win yesterday and take on Woods.
did.
Let's see if you can make it 2 in a row. Let's play our game. All right, Take on Woods brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It only takes 15 minutes. You don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. Paulie, pick someone at random for me.
Oh, let's try. Is this Ray?
Yes.
Ray!
Hi,
Congratulations.
Good morning.
You are a contestant. What do you do, Ray?
I'm a manager at a medical company.
All right. Good luck. You could probably use a vacation to Vegas if you can beat or tie Woods. We're going to put you into the drawing for a 2-night stay at the Wynn or Encore. Very nice. And tickets to see Awakening, the thrilling spectacle at the Wynn. Tickets are on sale now at awakening.com. All right. Woods is left. You get to go first. 5 questions, and you get the advantage of knowing the category here. Your choices are Little Shop of Horrors, 5 song titles or musical artists beginning with the word little. An iffy category, 5 song titles that begin with the word if. And our new category today is called Below the Waist, 5 songs that include a lower half body part in the title. So, Little Shop of Horrors, an iffy category, or Below the Waist, Ray?
Let's go with Little Shop of Horrors.
Little Shop of Horrors. Okay. Today's 5 answers will all be song titles or musical artists beginning with the word little. You'll get 60 seconds. Try to answer as many of the 5 as you can. If you don't know one, say pass. We'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock. First question's the 2-second song. Paulie will play you some music. You need to give me the title and the artist to score the point, one of which starts with the word little. Ray, are you ready to play?
Yes.
All right. Paul, you ready?
I'm ready.
60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Category Little Shop of Horrors. Good luck, Ray. Let's take on Woods.
Little Lies, Fleetwood Mac.
Correct. Which 1983 Prince hit uses an automotive theme as a metaphor for a one-night stand with a fast woman?
Little Red Corvette.
Correct. If you're thinking fondly about the Australians behind the 1970 hit Cool Change, you'd be reminiscing about which band?
Pass.
Which rock and roll pioneer with the last name of Penniman had 50s hits including Tutti Frutti and Long Tall Sally?
Little Richard.
Correct. The George Baker selection is best known for which 1969 song included in the soundtrack to Quentin Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs?
Say again. Repeat your last.
The George Baker selection is best known for which 1969 song included in the soundtrack to Quentin Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs?
Little Devil.
Incorrect. If you're thinking fondly about the Australians behind the 1979 hit Cool Change, you'd be reminiscing about which band? All right, you got 3. That was Little River Band that sings both Cool Change and Reminiscing. And the George Baker selection song is called Little Green Bag. You got Little Eyes, Fleetwood Mac, Little Red Corvette, and Little Richard. Let's bring Woods in. That's the score to beat now. Woods doesn't know the score to beat. He doesn't know the category. He comes in completely in the dark.
And exhausted.
And exhausted from a lack of sleep.
Good opportunity for the listener.
Yeah, really good.
All right. 60 seconds back on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Ray.
Fleetwood Mac. Pass.
Which 1983 Prince hit uses an automotive theme as a metaphor for a one-night stand with a fast woman?
Little Red Corvette?
Correct. If you're thinking fondly about the Australians behind the 1979 hit Cool Change, you'd be reminiscing about which band?
Cool Change. Pass.
Which rock and roll pioneer with the last name of Penniman had 50s hits including Tutti Frutti and Long Tall Sally?
Little Richard?
Correct. The George Baker selection is best known for which 1969 song included in the soundtrack to Quentin Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs?
Pass.
Go back to our 2-second song.
It's Fleetwood Mac. Lies? Or Tell Me Lies?
No. Incorrect.
Sweet
If you're
Little
thinking
Lies.
fondly about the Australians behind the 1979 hit Cool Change, you'd be reminiscing about which band?
The Taints.
Oh, wow. You've lost 3-2. Ray, congratulations.
Wait, I only got 2?
You got 2.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's true. You got Little Red Corvette and Little Richard. All the answers started with little. So what kind of lies were they?
Little lies.
Little lies.
I said that.
No, you said
lies.
You said lies.
Then I said sweet little lies.
No, you didn't say little.
I
You
did.
never said little.
Like your fourth guess was sweet little lies.
I said little.
You didn't say little for soon enough. Cool change and also reminiscing is Little River Band.
Little River Band.
And George Baker's selection is Little Green Bag. Ray,
Oh,
congratulations. You are the winner today. Good luck.
Congrats, buddy.
In the drawing
Congrats.
for Las
Thank you, buddy.
Vegas. Stay on the line, Paulie. We'll get your information
Hang
here.
tight for me, Ray.
Get me
During
when
the
I'm
break.
tired and weak.
Apparently.
God dang it.
Everybody's qualifying this month.
Little lies.
Little Lies. The
Not
category
lies.
was Little Shop of Horrors.
And everything said little.
Started with the word little. Little Lies, Little
I
Red
feel like
Corvette,
that would
Little
have
River
helped me.
Band, Little Richard, Little Green Bag. Yes, it would have.
Yeah.
All right.
Very cool. Very cool way to start my Tuesday.
Sorry about that, Woodsy.
I'm happy for him. What's his name? Richard?
Ray.
Ray. Good job, Ray.
Richard Penniman is Little Richard. You are tired today.
Beat.
All right.
Cool.
Good job, Ray.
Good
We're
job,
approaching Don't Do This Hall of Fame status for Deshaun Watson.
When's enough enough?
I think it was enough a while
Like
ago.
this is
the only team that didn't
this
know
was
was enough
separate
was
from all the other stuff.
was
Right?
the Browns.
Brand
yeah.
new.
It's
Happened,
brand new.
Yesterday.
He got to go.
You can't,
Dozens of women.
but you can't cut him. I mean,
Why not?
I'll tell you why. Coming up in Don't Do This. Next on 97.3 The Fan. First Traffic with Lee. All right, Woodsy, why don't you kick us off today for a little Don't Do This?
Yeah, it was like going back in a time machine yesterday when I saw news of Deshaun Watson under investigation, under fire again for more sexual assault and battery. This happened apparently, allegedly, in October of 2020 when he was a member of the Houston Texans.
Same time frame as most of the other allegations and lawsuits, correct, that have been settled?
This one was, he settled 23 of 24 civil lawsuits, but this one was a little bit different in that he was not paying someone for a massage, but massage did rear its ugly head. Again, Ben, he went to meet this woman for a date.
Allegedly.
Could not find her apartment, so was standing kind of down in the grassy knoll, yelling up, hey, screaming. So she's like, hey, I'm right here, relax, come on inside. Let me finish getting ready for the date. She goes in the bathroom, put on her makeup, walks out. He's nude on her bed, face down.
So
nude.
Just like before they've even had the date.
Correct.
That's moving fast.
This is pre-Texas Roadhouse, Chili's, wherever they're going. He's nude on the bed. She says, I need you to come over and give me a massage again, and I need you to focus on my buttocks. And,
do you say buttocks or buttocks?
I say buttocks because of Forrest Gump.
Directly in the buttocks.
That's why I say it that way, buttocks. And so then he partially disrobed her, allegedly penetrated her without consent, implicit or explicit. And she picked up a weapon, like a lamp or something, to try to fight him off with it. And he ended up leaving, and now she is suing him. And again, this is another situation for Deshaun Watson. That just, you look at this and go, all right, man, clearly there is some pattern of misbehavior and abuse and that the dude needs some serious help. And what happens? Browns give him the biggest deal in history. He serves 11-game suspension. He's back, no problem. Now this new one is up. Again, it's kind of gross the way sports media is, but the way I saw it yesterday that's how it was framed was, hey, can the Browns get out of this contract now? Instead of like, hey, hopefully these 25 women that we know of are okay. It's, hey, I wonder if this gives the Browns, a little window to get out of this deal.
It's quickly becoming what looks like one of the biggest mistakes in contractual history to sign Deshaun Watson. I mean, people thought maybe at the time it would be. Well, all those fears are coming true. Sunday, Deshaun Watson, 24 for 45, 169 yards, the touchdown, 2 interceptions. Did not look good against the Dallas Cowboys, was booed at home by the Cleveland Browns fans. If, in a just world, maybe you just cut him. But because that money is guaranteed, if you cut Deshaun Watson, they would immediately, I believe, take a $220 million cap hit.
That is
the cap is only like $257 million. That would mean you'd be left with only $37 million to fill out the rest of your roster this year. You'd have like 5 players.
Yes.
So that's not tenable.
Nope, that's not going to work.
So you can't just get rid of him unless the NFL steps in. And as you said, there was speculation that if this lawsuit was not disclosed as part of the punishment that's already been handed down and served to Deshaun Watson, I mean, he's going to, and his agent are going to say, time served. You can't now go back and relitigate it. But if this is
a new one,
when it's a new case,
I mean, he'll say, well, we didn't do anything since then. Nothing has happened. This was all part of the past. You've punished me for all this already.
It is a privilege, not a right, to be an NFL superstar.
Right.
And he has already gotten in trouble. He's already been punished. Now it's getting in trouble again. Horrible reasons behind it. And I would love to see Roger Goodell grow a pair of grapefruits and actually do something about it, because that guy, who's going to miss him in the NFL?
Not Browns fans.
Who?
Not Browns fans.
He has no business being in this league.
I don't think that there's necessarily a hesitancy on the part of the league. I mean, if they just snap their fingers and say, goodbye, Deshaun Watson, and Cleveland, you don't have to pay him, they would probably happily do so. I think they know, though, that legally they'd be on very
thin ice,
shaky footing, and probably end up losing that case, and would be even worse for them in the long run, that they'd have to go through this whole process and then find that they can't do anything about it, which is why they haven't done anything about it yet. But I guarantee you, The NFL has plenty of lawyers who are at every moment of every day getting their ducks in a row just in case they want to go down that path.
Yeah, for sure.
And every bit of evidence that, that they can use if there ever was a case is being documented and filed away for potential use in the future if this does come to the point where they want to suspend or ban him from the league at some point. Now, the Browns have never indicated any willingness or indication that they've wanted to do that.
Yeah.
They still say he's their quarterback.
That's their guy.
He's their guy. So
Then I would like Roger Goodell to grow some grapefruits and just
get
kick
rid
the
of the
Browns
Browns.
out of the
Just
NFL.
relegate them.
I ask again, who's mad at that?
Right.
Besides Browns fans.
I don't even know if they'd be that mad.
There was such a good story last year without him, with Joe Flacco,
Flacco.
and their coach, Stefanski, and it was a good story last year in the NFL.
Just on a quick side note, about an hour and a half long tease here, but we'll hear from some Browns fans later on this morning.
Okay.
Browns, Cleveland Sports Radio yesterday. Oh boy.
Oh, yeah. I heard that clip. It's really, really good.
All right, I've got a story that I think Woods is going to enjoy because it involves someone who is pretty much everybody's favorite Major League player, except for perhaps Woods.
Oh, look at me.
So this is from our friend Hector Gomez. Does a lot of reporting on Padres players like Tatis and Machado in the past. This is on Big Papi, David Ortiz. Quote on the 2024 National League MVP award race. And the fact that Shohei Ohtani is almost certainly going to win it. Said they, MLB, always had issues not to give me an MVP because I was a designated hitter. I'm going to see what they're going to say this year when Ohtani, the pretty girl of MLB, is in the race. So the implication here is pretty clear. David Ortiz is saying that there was a massive bias against him in particular, not just because he was a DH, but he wasn't the pretty girl of MLB. I mean, is he trying to argue
He was
that
like the prettiest girl of
everybody
MLB.
hated David Ortiz? Because if that's what he's going with, there
he's
really
full of
is
it.
no there's no basis to stand on that. Joe Sheehan pointed out that, well, in the years that Ortiz was an MVP candidate, and he did finish top 5 in MVP voting, he was never top 5 in WAR or any of the other statistics that Shohei Ohtani is this year.
Well,
so
he didn't. He also didn't. He didn't steal 50 bags either.
Right. My guess is
he didn't steal 5. You know, like
3 probably. And by the way, he is in the Hall of Fame with many other players.
How lucky
who appeared on the list, as Joe says, in 2003.
Yep,
never got in.
Never
so
got
if
in.
you're going to say that there's bias in Major League Baseball involving David Ortiz,
You're
you
right.
may be right.
Yeah, you're right.
It's just a very positive bias toward David Ortiz. So he's the last person on earth who should be complaining about MLB bias.
Just fade into oblivion.
Just
Take
slink
your Hall of
away.
Fame
Take
and like
your win.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. I think that David Ortiz was like one of the most beloved, got away with everything, and he did. He was just a hitter. I mean, and again, I think
He's a really good hitter.
really good hitter,
but
nasty.
Had a big smile.
Big smile, gap in his teeth. Everyone loved him. Yeah, I think he got a pass.
And that's don't, and, well, just don't do this for a Tuesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, Padres are back in action tonight. Hopefully everybody enjoyed their off day. We can get back on the stress train.
Yes.
And start looking ahead to a series against the Seattle Mariners. Talk a little baseball when we come back. Is Xander going to be the starting shortstop tonight? Predictions when we return on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Welcome back to Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Going to talk some Padres baseball here in a moment. Really excited to give you some of these numbers, and we'll see how they play out, Ben. You know, like the best offense in baseball against the worst offense in baseball. Surely that won't hold true, will it? It's a 2-game series, but we will get to all that in a second. Wanted to wish a very happy birthday to Matt Doyle. Turns 11 years old.
Happy birthday, Matt.
His dad, Tom, is a huge Tier 1, and I'm assuming by default, he is also a Tier 1. So happy
11
birthday.
is a
11's
great age.
Great age, man.
For parents.
Is it for parents?
I think so. It's kind of a sweet spot before they're old
Before
enough.
the attitude comes.
They're old enough that you can really worry about them a little bit less. They don't need the moment-to-moment supervision of the younger children.
Right.
But they're not quite old enough to really get into a ton of trouble yet.
Yeah.
They're still kind of compliant. They listen to their parents, love their parents. They're not rebellious teenagers.
I'm going to say like 10, 11, 12 was
good.
kind of that range where it's like, okay, we'll let you stay by yourself for a few hours or whatever. Like, get a little bit more responsibilities.
As I'm going over in my
Woods,
head,
I'm thinking
that's
Woods,
5
11-year-old
years.
Woods. Were you
I was a good kid.
You were a good kid.
I was a good kid till I turned 16.
16 was the date.
I discovered, girls I discovered really at like 11, 12. And then I really lost my mind at about 16, where my parents had no control. Zero. Just did my thing. Really looking forward to those days in my house.
You think that's genetic?
Yeah. 100%. I can already see it. We were leaving the school the other day, and the lady said to Bo, she goes, "Hey, have a nice day." He looked right dead in the eye. He goes, "I will," and just walked away. I walked to the car. I go, "Hey, next time somebody says, you say you too, unless you're a psychopath." I will. What?
Yeah, don't worry, I will.
Yeah, I will.
You know who I am?
I'm like, are you kidding me?
Bo Woods.
Who are you? Whatever. He's like an 18-year-old already. But happy birthday to you, Matt. I bet you're a good son to your dad, Tom.
Well, I'm excited because you said you did a little research, a little math.
Took 2 seconds.
I did some 2-second research as well about the Padres shortstop situation. We'll get to that right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Got a few things that might slow you down. Crash blocking the right lanes on westbound King Freeway, right around Bancroft. Also westbound 8 before the 805. Accident over to the right shoulder. Looks like a semi involved in that. South 15 before Balboa. Watch out for some large tire tread reported in that right lane. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Just want to say I appreciate Mike Schilt and the Cardinal Way and the fact that he values defense, and it's important to have a good defensive shortstop. And
of course,
that's a way to win games, and they've won a lot of games that way. And I believe that you don't need your shortstop to hit 320 with 40 home runs. You can get by with a guy who's hitting 215 if he's giving you really solid defense. And Mason McCoy has given the Padres some solid defense while Ha-Sung Kim has been out. Here's the problem. He's not hitting 215 anymore. I went back and looked. This month, since the calendar turned to September, Mason McCoy is 2 for 18, and neither of the two left the infield. A bunt single and an infield single. This month, this entire month, there's been virtually no offensive production. Now, that's different than, scratch out a single every 4 to 5 at-bats, maybe driving a run, productive outs.
He's had a couple of sack bunts.
He had some, but most of the production came way back in August when he first, he had a good first week starting, and it was supposed to be, 10 days. And then Ha-Sung Kim was coming back. Well, that was August 18th when he got hurt. That was 23 days ago now. That's 3 weeks. No one was anticipating a 3-week absence for Ha-Sung Kim.
Well, and then the report comes out, yesterday or the day before, that he's just not doing great, not responding, can't make the throw across the diamond. Fairly important for a shortstop to be able to do that. And, we warned people, Hey, man, be careful what you wish for. You know, Ha-Seong Kim isn't having the world's greatest season, but he can still get a walk. He can still hit one out of the ballpark.
Yeah, I see some in the chat going, oh, you mean the same offense as Ha-Seong Kim? No.
Like,
Ha-Seong Kim
way worse.
Gets on base.
Yeah.
He sees tons of pitches. He makes other pitchers work hard. I'll promise you, other NL pitchers don't love seeing Ha-Seong Kim. Yep. They may get him out, but it's not a fun at-bat. He's got enough pop where you have to be careful to him. He's got speed when he gets out of the base path. I know Mason McCoy does as well, but he actually gets on base. He gets on base, I think, as much as like Jackson Merrill does.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you
see the sarcastic stuff in the chat. Oh, but he walks. Yes, and guess who's after him? Luis Ariz. Like if he's in the 9-hole, Luis Ariz is up next. Don't you want a guy on base when Luis Ariz comes up? Don't you want somebody there to clog up the base paths and to score runs? I mean. So, yeah, if McCoy's 2 for what? 19. Yeah, it's not going to get the job done. And again, when he came up, I said, I don't really need him to hit much. I just need him to play good D. Well, I changed my mind. I need him to hit a little bit. You know, he's got to hit a little bit because, you know, with the some of the black hole, it's black hole time again sometimes when you're rolling out 7, 8, and 9 right now. If it's Campy, McCoy, and who am I missing here? Campy, McCoy, and... Who am I missing?
Well, Merrill's been hitting 7th lately, so it's really just 8, 9.
It's 8,
right
9.
Now,
Yeah, Tyler Wade will get thrown in the mix every now and then. So it just, man, if you have an option, and they do, it's probably time to use that bullet.
Which to me, just based on the fact that it was even semi-acknowledged by Mike Schilt on Sunday or Saturday or whenever it was, I would expect, my guess, and I don't know, but I would guess that Xander Bogaerts will start at short tonight in game 1 of this series.
Yeah.
Got a day, get your mind around it. You know what? It's just for as long as we need you. It may be another 5 days. It may be through the playoffs. We don't know what Ha-Seong Kim is going to be, when he's going to come back, but we need you. You're the best option for this team right now. And I think what Xander should know, and we have both expressed our absolute understanding at what Xander has gone through, willingly changing positions too. And Mike Schilt came on this show and explained how difficult it really is to switch from short to second in particular, with the game now kind of behind you as opposed to in front of you.
I got to imagine, though, the transition back is fairly easy.
A little bit easier.
Yeah. He's played it for so long.
We have expressed plenty of understanding when it comes to Xander Bogaerts' hesitancy. Can we tell Xander right now, and I doubt he's listening, but if we were, Padres fans can also be understanding, knowing, hey, if you're not perfect and you do commit an error because you haven't been there for a while, we get that. We know, though, that you are doing something that the team needs right now.
Absolutely. I think that goes a long way.
And that's okay.
I think that goes a long way.
You know, don't worry about the fact that you may not be the Xander Bogaerts you used to be at short. That's not the standard anymore. The standard is your bat's in the lineup. It gets either Solano's bat or someone else's, Peralta's bat, into the lineup as a DH if Ariz is at first, and makes the Padres a better team and a better lineup overall. And you're not a bad defender either yourself. So this is the standard that I think needs to be set for a Xander Bogaerts move back to shortstop.
Yeah, I think I'm all for it. You know, I understood why he was reluctant to do it, certainly. Because, again, you know, he's already made the move. So, but, man, with 17 games to go and hopefully some playoffs in the future, hopefully the eye's on the prize. He got his money. You know, he's going to get paid no matter what. No matter how he performs, he's still going to get paid. So.
I think sometimes I see the point. Hey, he's being paid so much, just do what you're told. I don't think he's worried about, I'm not going to get my money, or
right.
I think
he's got his money.
I think he truly is. I think he's truly worried about hurting the team by not playing his best at a different position. And what I'm saying is that, no, even if you're not at your best there, you're helping the team by doing that. And just understand that will be appreciated by all of us, the fan base as well, for what you are doing. Don't make your own standards the enemy of what's good for the Padres as a whole. It's good that he has high standards.
Sure.
He wants to excel wherever he's going to play and put himself in a position to succeed because he thinks that helps the team. But in this case, sometimes you have to lower your standards to actually raise the profile of the entire team.
Satan's Blowfish says it'd be nice if the top three in the rotation could get back to form. None of those three feel like a lock or high percentage win right now. I couldn't agree more, Satan's Blowfish, but why not both? At this point, why not get Solano's bat in the lineup? Gives you a great AB. You got some tough challenges the next two nights against the Seattle Mariners, and let's rip the Band-Aid off here. And look, if you're Darvish tonight, trying to work your way back, trying to knock more rust off tonight. Knock on wood, and as the numbers bear out, it's a good team to do it against. Okay, this is not a good contact team.
5 clean innings out of you.
It would be amazing. It'd be incredible.
When you say top
65,
3
70
struggling
pitches.
in the rotation, obviously Darvish, we expected some rust.
If he's in Satan's top 3,
so if he's in one of the top 3, I'm assuming he means Cease, Musgrove, Darvish. I think there's nothing to panic about yet. I'd like to see another step forward here from you, but this is part of his process of returning. Musgrove has been fantastic since he came back. One stretch of 5 minutes that was weird. Outside of that,
he's been great.
6 starts. He's been beyond great.
Yep.
He's been the best maybe we've ever seen him. So I don't want to just go ahead and say Musgrove's got to get over his struggles. Just erase one inning and just keep doing what you've been doing for the last month, and Joe Musgrove's been fine. Cease is someone that is the mystery here, the wild card, because in some innings he looks just dominant. Cease, throws 98 still.
Yep.
Slider can be unhittable, and all of a sudden he just gives up a 3-run home run. And
or walks 3 guys in a row.
Yeah, and that
makes no sense.
That's the one to me beyond the other two, which I'm not going to worry too much about yet. Okay. But we've seen that. We saw it early in the season, and he got locked in.
Through a no-hitter.
A lot of pitchers do that. They're not locked in every single start.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we're at the point where maybe he gets locked in heading toward October, and we see the same Dylan Cease that we saw during the no-hitter stretch. When do you want that Dylan Cease back?
September, October.
Late September, early October is when you want that Dylan Cease to come through with another 5-start stretch like he had to start the second half of the season.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
I don't know that he's going to do that, but he certainly has it in him because we've already seen it this year. So I'm not worried necessarily about the Padres rotation. But yeah, it's definitely cost them a couple of games lately, for sure.
Well, and if you're Darvish tonight, this is a good team to get on track against, based on the numbers. The worst hitting team in baseball, Benny. The lowest average in baseball. They are behind the Chicago White Sox.
Strike out a ton,
and they strike out. They strike out more than any other team in baseball, and they are a full 10 points behind the LA Angels, who are in 28th place. And they get on base at a better clip, but it's still nothing major. They don't slug a ton either. This is a good landing spot for Darvish tonight. So
they also beat the Padres twice at Petco Park
earlier
this year,
did.
Including putting up 8 in one of those games. So there's no guarantees.
Think about how much we skewed their offensive numbers in that one game.
Now the Padres struggled against their pitchers in that series. They're seeing 2 different pitchers in this series. In that series, it was they saw Gilbert. And they saw Bryce Miller. And in this series, they're seeing George Kirby today and Brian Wu tomorrow. Is it good? Is it bad? You had to look at the other guys. Now you got to get a fresh look at new guys, but you didn't do well against the other guys. So, maybe these guys are more to your liking, but that's just the reality. They're facing 2 different pitchers this series. Padres countering, as you said, with Darvish tonight, 6:40. 5:40 Eco Water SoCal pregame show with Sam Levitt. And then Michael King, we mentioned it yesterday. They're moving him up. Not on short rest, but because of the off day on regular rest and pushing Martin Perez back to get Michael King's, the one guy who really has been throwing consistently well lately for the Padres, get him an extra start in here, move him up to try to make sure you win at least one, if not both of these games up in Seattle.
Yeah, 100%. You got a tough order tonight in George Kirby. He's pretty nasty. So, again, first licks, you're going to get your shot to get to him early, put him on the ropes, see what happens. But, yeah, Darvish, he's just got to continue to build. I'm sure he's on a 65, 70 pitch count again tonight, and hopefully he looked at his last start and figured some things out. Just didn't have a lot of command, which is to be expected. So if he's spinning it, Benny, and the velo stays the same, I think he can be really successful tonight.
The Mets will continue their series against the Blue Jays on the road. Mentioned the Mets won 3-2 yesterday. The Diamondbacks open their series against the Texas Rangers. That's in Arizona. It's a good pitching matchup tonight. Eovaldi against Zach Gallen in the first game of that series.
Nasty.
Two really good arms, so expect a low-scoring one there. And the Braves, that was a makeup game against Cincinnati yesterday. They got a short 2-game series in Washington against the Nationals, who've not been playing well. They do have Mackenzie Gore, so another old friend alert. Nick Martinez helped the Padres out yesterday. Can Mackenzie Gore be the latest to help the Padres out today as he pitches against the Atlanta Braves? Try to reduce that magic number from, I believe, 15 is where it's at over the Braves to clinch a playoff spot for the Padres. And the Dodgers lost last night to the Cubs. Cody Bellinger came back to L.A., hit an early home run.
So did Michael Busch, who was another one that they traded.
That's right.
Yeah.
They will come back.
Off Walker Buehler, by the way. So it's doubly special.
Game 2 of that series. So the Dodgers are up 5.5 games on the Padres at this point. Game 2 of the series is an interesting pitching matchup. It's Shota Imanaga and the return of Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Ooh, is that tonight?
So, yeah, two Japanese stars squaring off against each other, both with sub-3 ERAs. Obviously, Yamamoto has not pitched in a couple of months since he went on the injured list. So this is his return, and it comes against another Japanese star. So expect that game to be well-rated in Tokyo tonight as they keep an eye on, if the Cubs can help out the Padres by beating the Dodgers, definitely not going to complain about that. I don't really still see the division as in play. I think the Dodgers still have like a 98% chance of winning the NL West at this point. But, hey, a loss is a loss, and we're here for it. All right, that is 2 hours down. We will come back and start the second half of Ben and Woods when we return. We still have Jesse Agler, the voice of the Padres, joining us for a little Incorporator at 8:35, a Rondo Report as well. All ahead on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
My favorite part of the reset intro. Ben and Woods 97.3, The Fan. We are halfway home on a Tuesday. You've unboxed that thing. I don't know that you were supposed to do that, Ben. I guess you can.
I know that I've lowered its resale value on the open market.
Tremendously. We are halfway home. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. Ben Higgins. Fernando Tatis Jr. Fernando Tatis Jr. bobblehead unboxed.
Platinum hair, perhaps. Yeah, it's the Platinum Glove bobblehead presented by Cannell's.
I feel like Mud and Dawn right now.
Going to be the giveaway on Wednesday, September 18th. It's the final giveaway of the season.
Yeah, it's a good quality item.
Fans in attendance will receive this. I am holding it if you're on our YouTube stream.
There you go. Platinum
Glove bobblehead featuring Fernando's iconic home run robbery reaching over the fence. Someone asked, is this the one that they didn't give away in 2022? And I go, well, he hadn't won the Platinum Glove at that point, so this is an entirely new Tatis bobblehead.
Does he have a Platinum Glove on there?
He does.
Yeah, he does.
He has a Platinum Glove on the bobblehead. You can learn more at Padres.com/giveaways. Now, if I wanted to, I could put it back into its molded plastic case and then back into the...
Oh, somebody in the chat says, JH619 said, but it has sunglasses on, though. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, I was thinking about it yesterday when he said, I've tried it both ways. I wear the sunglasses, and I don't wear the sunglasses. It's much easier without sunglasses. And I thought, doesn't he have like a sunglass?
Oh, Jesus Christ. You know what? Give me the toy.
I'm just putting it away.
Give me the toy.
Fine.
Taking it away from him.
Here,
Give me the toy.
Take the paper snap, too, while you're at it.
Like a 6-year-old.
I was putting it away.
Doesn't he have...
Very responsible of me.
Doesn't he have doesn't he endorse, like, sunglasses?
Well, in lots of his Instagram pictures, he is wearing sunglasses. He's not, like, religiously opposed to them. I've seen him in sunglasses many times. He just says, I can't see the ball as well in sunglasses in the field.
Yeah, it is hard.
In the outfield.
Yeah.
I wear those transitions sunglasses when I play golf.
The Ron Rivera's.
If you have not seen him in his transitions, they are the first day he got them. He came in and goes, I got these new shades. And I go,
I think they're awesome.
Hey, this was like, what, 2 years ago maybe? You go, I got these new sunglasses. I go, oh, okay. And he was so excited. He goes, yeah, they change when you go outside. And I go, you didn't get them. They don't change dark when you walk outside.
Yeah,
goes,
when like the clouds come out, then they don't get as dark, so you don't have to like be changing your glasses. Plus, they're prescription, so I can see.
Right.
Because I can read up close, but at a distance, I can't see the golf ball anymore, so I need them to actually see my shot now.
It's such a dad move. The transition lenses are like one of the main dad moves. Is to get those. You were so excited about it. I'm sorry to crap all over it. I was sorry then, 2 years ago.
I'll just wait until Fernando starts wearing them, and then they'll be cool for everybody, and I will be ahead of the game.
Why don't they wear those then in the big leagues?
I'm not sure. It seems like it would be ideal because they're always dealing with the... I mean, remember the flip sunglasses where they'd have them down and then they'd flip them up? Flip them back down.
Yeah.
That's what transitions are. You don't have to do anything.
You don't have to do anything.
They'll just change on their own when you
Ron
need them to be darker or lighter.
Ron Rivera just laid
Jim Harbaugh
me out.
wears them.
Harbaugh wears them. Yeah, big in the coaching circles. Man, so are yours not readers?
No, they're the opposite.
Okay.
I have to take them off if I want to read. I can read just fine. I'm nearsighted.
Everybody always yells at me, like, Woods, you take your glasses on and off on the show like 100 times. I'm like, yeah, because... I don't like wearing them.
But this was actually, I got these because about, a year and a half, 2 years ago, I found myself unable to see the words on the teleprompter at Channel 10, which is kind of across the room when I'm talking. I'm standing in one of those walls, and the camera is a good 15 feet away, and I'm going, squinting every single time I'm on television is not a good look. I probably should go to an optometrist. And they put glasses on, and I go, Oh yes, I can see now.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how bad it has gotten over the last couple of years, but yeah, these glasses actually do help me see at a distance.
Yeah, Lisa says transitions are never dark or light enough. They always look gray. Yes, there's always shades of gray. Keegan says transition glasses automatically increase your credit score. That's true. That's true. You have those on. Yeah, and I like the flip glasses. Somebody said Tony Gwynn used to wear the flips. I think they look badass. If they're up and just little things poking out the side, and then you go back for a ball and flip them down. I mean, I could never do it. I could never do it. It's
That's
too much.
kind of what Tatis needs, though, because
Kind of, yeah.
he needs no sunglasses to see it off the bat. Essentially, is what I'm hearing. Like the sunglasses make it hard to see it at a distance, but as it's getting closer, if you're looking into the sun, you need them. So flip them
It's
right
a lot
down.
to do, though.
I don't see anyone wearing those
nor
anymore.
do I.
Though.
And there's probably a reason for it. I don't know what it is, but it sounds like something that would be a good deep dive to go and ask the players. Maybe at spring training next year we'll ask them. Why don't you use the? I feel like Crony would wear flips. Out of everybody on the team, I feel like he would have flip shades.
Infielders rarely wear sunglasses.
No, they used to. Well,
they?
No, they do now. What always freaks me out is when people hit with sunglasses on. I could never, ever in a million years hit. Doesn't matter how bright it is. There's that thing in the middle that you stare at. The piece right in the middle,
the bridge,
and every time you're up there with your sunglasses, you're like, all I see is the bridge.
See,
all I
I'll
see is
hit
the
with
bridge.
glasses on if I was wearing glasses that day. Like I can't.
You can't switch.
It screws up my eyes to go from sunglasses to not.
Next time we play a game, watch me at first base. The whole time I'm putting them on, taking them off, putting them on, taking them off, because I'm just trying to get the right feel for what it is. And the sun can be right in my face, but I'm kind of with Fernando on this. It does make it tougher.
My dad always wore contact lenses.
Yep,
but
I wore those.
I don't really want to put things in my eyes.
Yeah.
So
I need somebody
to, glasses.
to tell me. I got LASIK 14 years ago, and it was the greatest thing ever. And now it's fading a little bit, and I have to wear readers. Is there a tune-up I can do? Can I go in and get retuned up? Is that possible?
I think.
Ooh, that's right. Nolan Arenado still does wear flips. He does. I've seen him in them. But if there's a tune-up for like LASIK to get me back to where I was, I'll pay whatever.
I know there is certainly a limit to how much you can do at some point. They don't want you to do too much LASIK, but there might be a second like tune-up procedure.
I need one so bad. So yeah, you can get it and get it redone. Okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna take a couple days off, fellas. Go get some new LASIK at some point. I want to get that done.
Why do you have to take days off?
Because it hurts. It doesn't feel good. You'll need a day of recovery.
Okay.
At least one day.
You can just come in with your eyes
but
closed.
I also see
though?
so many things about LASIK that freak me out.
The greatest thing I ever did. It was so good.
My mom did it. She said it was great.
It's fantastic.
Everybody I know that's had LASIK had nothing to complain about, and then other people are like, you're gonna actually, you would seriously consider that?
Yeah, it was incredible. The first day I stepped back on a field, I was like, this is heaven. I wore goggles and contacts and all kinds of stuff. It was heaven. So if there's a tune-up that I could do it, it'd be great. Yeah, Carlos says do it on a Thursday at 10 a.m. Yeah, 100%. See you guys on Monday.
Missed that round table.
Yeah.
I can't. I've got my LASIK surgery.
Yep, I need to check that. Is there any way you can reschedule? What do we think about the round table this week? Ben, you're going to be gone. You're going to be out.
I'm off Thursday and Friday.
Where are you heading?
Thousand Oaks, the Conejo Valley.
For golf.
Golf, yeah. Meeting my buddy and his friend, and going to play some golf. Rustic Canyon. Looking forward to playing that course.
And there'll be a round table. Now, you're the host of the round table.
Yeah, but Annie filled in for me back. I missed a round table in like late April or early May, and I heard she did an excellent job.
She did.
So she will be up again.
Do you know that for sure?
Pretty sure.
Okay. So Annie, me, Elston, and Ello.
Correct.
Awesome. Paul, you want to sit in?
Not particular.
Might have a spot for you.
There's chairs. There's definitely chairs. Free pizza in it for you. Paulie doesn't usually partake in the free pizza, I've noticed.
He does.
I'll grab like a breadstick.
Do you grab one?
Yeah,
I mean, you
kind
of get your work done and then you take off.
Yeah.
It's the one day that we stay longer than Paulie of the week. Usually he stays longer than us.
It's true.
But on
Thursdays
that day,
are
he gets
I
to leave
usually
early.
have somewhere to be pretty quickly after
Yeah.
the show, whether it's a haircut, therapy. It's always Thursdays.
Smoke weed in the chat. It's a very subtle name. Says Ben and Woods commented on the photo of the fan at the Padres game walking around wearing a banana hammock circle. Yeah, we did. We spent a good amount of time on it yesterday on the plum
Oh, I thought he
smuggler.
was telling you to smoke weed.
No, that's his handle.
That's for glaucoma, not LASIK.
correct.
Big bomber class before busting on me head.
So if Adam wanted to, Sammy Lev's going to join us as well. All right, well that makes it more worthwhile then to be there. That's not a shot at
When
everyone
you have
that's already going to
chairs,
be
you
there.
want to use all those chairs, or at least as many as possible.
Use them up.
Maybe Sammy wants to host.
Smoke
He'd be
weed
good at
is
it.
my favorite. Is my favorite name in the chat. Satan's Blowfish is also a good one, but smoke weed is just so matter of fact.
Balsamic Vinny.
That's good.
That's
yeah.
a good one,
What
too.
handle would you like? I don't know. Smoke weed. It's so good. It's very matter of fact.
And I think my least favorite, not that my least favorite person, but my least favorite
Gas station D pill
pill.
kills me every time. Smoke weed. We love you too, buddy. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. I don't hate the round table, Alex.
Frijoles
Very
is a good
tired.
one. Yeah. That's beans in Spanish.
Yep. All right. You said you had a fun thing here.
I didn't have a fun. We were talking about James Earl Jones. We had a shout out to his family in our first half of the program. And my contention yesterday was that James Earl Jones is the one thing that we can all agree on.
Shout out to his family.
His family.
Everybody likes James Earl Jones.
feel
I've
like
never
you're
met
right,
anyone
man.
that doesn't. And I saw someone point out, well, probably some racists out there. I don't even know. I think
even the racists are like, you know what, he's all right.
He's good though. I mean, everybody liked James Earl
Hey
Jones.
man, that Field of Dreams, that's a good movie.
Why does Foster? Why did you do your Foster voice?
I didn't.
But the question is, does anybody have like one of those people that everybody likes, but you don't like?
Glenn Powell is a new one for me.
That everybody likes that you don't like.
Everybody loves Glenn Powell now, and I just don't. I don't get it.
It's fine.
He's handsome, but like,
is he the one from
Top Gun 2? Yeah.
A little smarmy seeming.
Yes,
yeah,
a
but
little
that's his
smarmy.
character too.
That was the character. Paulie told me about some rom-com he was in with Sydney Sweeney.
Oh, I don't remember the name of
And
that.
I
It's on Netflix.
Can't Be You, or It Has to Be You, or
Anybody
but you. So I put it on.
That chin is a deadly weapon.
I'm so jealous of that. Maybe that's what it is. I'm jealous of his chin.
I see a lot of Glenn Powell in my house.
There's a lot of Glenn Powell going around.
Because Megan would throw me
But
off a bridge.
part of James Earl Jones, he wasn't intimidatingly handsome.
Yeah.
But he wasn't unattractive
No.
either. He was just right there. Perfect. You know, like
somebody in the chat said Tom Hanks. What, Matt? Tom Hanks. He doesn't like Tom Hanks. Everyone likes Tom Hanks, and he doesn't. Tobey Maguire. I'm with you 1,000%.
Does everybody like Tobey Maguire?
I think he's pretty universally liked, isn't he?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
I think most people would think he's a little dweeb.
He's a little nerd.
Yeah.
A lot of people get so popular that makes them unappealing.
Correct.
Too.
Maybe that's what it is with Tom Hanks.
Yeah, you just man, everybody likes him too much. But James Earl Jones never got that way. He didn't overexpose himself. He wasn't like, I'm going to just be in it. Everyone loves me, so I'm just going to take every single role and be in every movie. He just, he was out there just the right amount. He wasn't too much in the public, but he wasn't too private and reclusive. He was just, it was like perfect.
Ricardo, I agree with this one. Ricardo says The Rock. I'm there. I'm with you.
Everybody likes The Rock?
Yeah. He's like universally loved, I think.
Oh.
I'm kind of out on
I think just because they're thrown in your face all the time doesn't mean they're universally loved. I would say Shaq is universally loved.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I love Shaq.
Who doesn't
Who
like
doesn't
Shaq?
like Shaq?
I mean, Boston Celtics fans probably. Sports,
Even today, I bet they're like,
I bet they
he's
still
pretty
like it.
great
it's
on
tough with
TNT.
sports fans because you always have an opposing fan base that's never going to be your biggest supporters
So-
for sure.
We're talking about,
Oh, Tom Cruise has plenty of haters.
Oh,
Oh,
plenty.
yes.
Yeah.
Talking about
Plenty.
actors that we think are kind of universally
Snoop's
loved.
not a bad call.
Ernie
Snoop's not a
Johnson.
bad call. Oh,
Adam
Ernie's
says.
great.
Yeah, now we're going.
Adam doesn't like Ernie Johnson.
Well, Adam,
Or he just thinks everybody likes Ernie Johnson. I don't know.
Kurt says Ben Higgins.
Thanks, Kurt.
now, when you said Tom
I don't
Hanks,
even know if there's 3 people in this room who like me. Well, there's one.
Well, you don't like yourself, so.
when you said Tom Hanks, I just had a memory pop into my head. 13, 14 years ago, I was in college, had a roommate, kind of a weird kid, weird dude.
Sure.
And I think somebody was watching Forrest Gump in the living room, and he came in and he goes, "Ugh, I hate Forrest Gump." I go, "Why?" He goes, "Ugh, can't stand Sally Fields." It's maybe the hardest I've ever laughed.
Like, why?
And I go, A, that shouldn't make or break Forrest Gump.
No, she's barely in it.
B, who has any feelings towards Sally Field, one way or the other? Like she's just there.
She's there.
Just an actress.
And she's good. Like
she had
she's
the
a great
Oscar
actress.
acceptance when she was.
You
People
like me.
You really like me.
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
that's the only thing I think of.
I go, really? That ruined her 10 minutes in the movie.
Yeah, I can't watch
Ruined
it because
Forrest Gump. Okay.
It's interesting. Adam is throwing out names like Robin Williams. And he said Ernie Johnson.
I want to put Adam in time.
Adam said Ernie Johnson, then said, I love Ernie Johnson.
Everyone loves Ernie.
Adam, this is
we're trying to find someone you don't like
that you don't like that everyone
else
loves.
likes.
So Adam doesn't like Robin Williams.
He does. He's another one that he thinks everybody likes Robin Williams.
That's not the purpose of the game.
Right.
He's not understanding how it's
Maybe
working.
Adam missed the first 3 minutes of this portion.
Yeah, Diesel, put him in timeout, please, in the chat.
Does anybody not like Denzel?
That you don't like.
My wife.
She doesn't like Denzel.
My wife, this is a quote. He's not that good of an actor. So
I think you've said that before.
that's what I deal with on
And
a nightly basis.
Still
Denzel Washington.
shocks
Denzel
me.
Washington's not that good of an actor. It's a quote. You wonder why I'm frazzled all the time.
Has she seen Crimson Tide? Come on.
Takes like that. She said this. Yeah, Anthony, that's insane. You're right. It's insane.
You shared something the other day that made me laugh. When we were talking about hating yourself. You said the post. What was the post? It was you can get $50,000, but if you accept the $50,000, the person you hate the most gets $100,000.
Easiest 150 grand I ever made. You know, the other day when you were talking about hating yourself, it was the most clever tweet I think I've ever seen in my whole life. Oh, it laid me out, man. Holy cow. Oh, that was so good. That was so good. All right, well, thanks for playing along. And Jesse Agler's coming up soon.
Yes. So they coach us in radio to really hit the teases before breaks hard.
Yeah.
To make sure
Hit it
you
hard.
come back. Problem is, it's sometimes hard to pay off those teases.
Sure.
But I've got one for you. There's a bit of a twist. I can guarantee you that the Rookie of the Year race is over. It is decided, and I know who's winning it with 100% certainty. I'll tell you why I know that. Next, after traffic here on Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. I know what you're thinking, because I am going to pay off my tease and why I can guarantee you who's going to win the Rookie of the Year award. And you're going, how can you do that? Paul Skeens threw well again yesterday for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Really nice day for
my
beloved Paul Skeens.
Set the Pittsburgh Pirates rookie strikeout record. Another, 6?
9, I think.
No, but
I love
6 innings,
Paul
1 run.
Skeens.
Yes, you do. 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 9 strikeouts. Improved to 10-2 on the season.
Okay.
He will get some support for the National League Rookie of the Year award. Jackson Chourio is kind of coming on strong late as well. I think he got off to too slow of a start to catch Jackson Merrill. But he has played really well lately. There are some really good rookies, especially in the National League this year. But I'm paying off the tease by pulling a fast one on all of you. The Rookie of the Year award is going to Caitlin Clark because Angel Reese had a season-ending surgery and is not going to win it in there. See, I told you. What can you do?
I'm too tired for this. My nerves are already frayed.
I was
here at 4 o'clock
It
in the
was
morning.
a Skeens Merrill-esque battle between the two. Both of them were having phenomenal rookie seasons in the WNBA.
I'd like to take this moment to just apologize to the audience.
I can't.
I know you have a lot of choices in the morning, and you're probably listening to Ben and Woods at 8:13, and you hear that tease. You had so many choices.
I can hear the channels changing right now out of anger.
I can't guarantee you that Jackson Merrill's going to win the Rookie of the Year award. He should. Absolutely should, but Paul Skeens is at least continuing to throw a little bit of doubt into the equation with how he's pitching.
You watched it yesterday. Did you see him, too, in the dugout? He looked at the camera and he goes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He counted them off. I'm like, God, you son of a bitch. I love Paul Skeens.
And it's not as though Jackson Merrill's giving any ground. He gets hurt. He misses one day. He comes back, hits a home run. He's not giving any ground at all. That's why Jackson Merrill still should be the Rookie of the Year winner in the National League.
It's coming down to the wire.
It is not over yet.
No, it is not.
And that is so.
You're a monster for that.
I know.
I was like, what does he know? What kind of advanced metric does he have here?
We were talking about it yesterday, maybe late last week. You know, we all are expecting Jackson Merrill to win the Rookie of the Year award, but it's not over yet.
Brace yourself for if he doesn't.
Oh, God, yeah. I would love to hear from somebody that placed a bet. I mean, we talked about this in like March and April when it was kind of determined like, oh, they're really going to give this kid a shot in center field. He's going to get his full chance. Could he be a Rookie of the Year? It was like, I want to say it was like plus 2,000, maybe even higher, plus 4,000. Did anybody get in on that?
Yeah, did anybody get in early on Jackson Merrill?
Because, I don't know, by about June, halfway through the season, when he really was like, okay, he's actually a contender for this award, the odds had already started to change.
100%.
But at one point, I definitely remember them being plus 2,000 or 4,000.
Well, everyone had already given it to Yoshinobu Yamamoto when the season started.
It was Yamamoto to start.
Then
it was Imanaga. And it was like,
then
this
Skeens came out.
Then Skeens came out, and it was like, Skeens is going to win it. Then Merrill all of a sudden is like...
Merrill and Chourio were just kind of there.
Yep, and then Merrill just soared to the top. And then Chourio has been a bit of a late push, though he's been fairly solid the second half of the season. Yeah, man, it does feel like it's what if they do this bit?
Cody said he placed a bet in March.
Did he? That's incredible. For how much money, Cody? And what do you got? He got it at what? 1,800, is that right?
Yeah, I think Yeti is right. I think in the original odds, like Ethan Salas had like better odds to win the National League Rookie of the Year award than Jackson Merrill.
Adam Paul says a good friend of his put 100 on Merrill Jackson before the season. He's not going to win that. Just so you know, Merrill Jackson is not going to win the Rookie of the Year, right?
I would not think so. No. Who is Merrill Jackson?
I don't think he's anybody. But if you put $100 on Merrill Jackson,
well, there's certainly someone out there named Merrill Jackson. Did you see that there's that kid, like 9-year-old kid, named Jackson Merrill?
Jackson Merrill,
who got to meet Jackson, a Padres fan. He was already a Padres fan.
Go figure.
Before his whole life, and his name is Jackson Merrill, and he lives in like San Carlos, and got to meet Jackson Merrill, who is now a San Diego Padre.
Interesting.
I think I would have been insane if there had been a Padre, like I had grown up, and all of a sudden when I'm 9, Ben Higgins becomes a Padre.
Hi, this is Merrill Jackson.
Hello, Merrill.
Also a great name. Merrill Jackson's a
Hi,
kick-ass.
this is Merrill Jackson.
The Diamondbacks have pitcher Merrill Kelly.
Yep.
So, there's a Merrill already in the NL West.
I like Kelly Merrill. Personally, is really my favorite.
Kelly Merrill is the girl next door.
Merrill Jackson. This is Merrill Jackson.
Hi, this is Merrill Jackson.
Holy crap.
I don't know how to laugh this hard if I wasn't that tired. The joke is way funnier to me today than it probably would
Loopy
have been.
Woods
Is
is entertaining this morning. Jesse Agler is always entertaining and informative and incorporating for us. Voice of the Padres will join us when we come back from Seattle, Washington, next on 97.3 The Fan. I heard that the high temperature in Seattle today is going to be right around 70 degrees. Sounds nice. I mean, not that you ever want to get away from San Diego, but it's been hot here the last few days. This apparently is the last day.
I was texting with Jesse yesterday, make sure he was good to go this morning. He said it was like 64 and overcast.
Mama.
Because which kind of a welcome little break
I would say
from the
it's
heat
very
wave we just had.
welcome. Well, and remember, Jesse and Tony just went to St. Louis and Tampa Bay, and then they come back to San Diego where it's just as nasty and hot, and now they go to Seattle. They deserve some nice, cloudy, cool weather for a couple of days. Jesse's standing by. He will join us from the Pacific Northwest after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, your trusted instant drive-thru oil change. Some trouble on the coastline, northbound side of the 5 before the racetrack. Collision was blocking lanes. Managed to get everything over the right shoulder. Now on the southbound side of the 5, right before Santa Fe Drive, there is a collision over to the right shoulder. Clearing a stalled car on westbound 78 before Twin Oaks Valley Road. Also traveling on the southbound side of the 805 Miramar Road off-ramp. We have reports of a stalled vehicle in the left lane of that ramp. Out of the South Bay, northbound side of the 5 before H Street, a collision involving a couple vehicles. They're over the right shoulder, but watch out for some debris in the slow lane. Also an accident occurring on eastbound 8 near College. Stop by into the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Oil Change Centers. You don't have to get out of your car, and it usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Plus, get a free courtesy check of your tires and battery. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for directions and discounts. SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Jesse Agler, remind us of what it feels like to walk outside and be comfortable.
So right now, there are, I would call it mostly sunny skies. There's like a little bit of a gray up there, but it's mostly blue. 57 degrees.
Oh, wow.
A little chilly for my blood.
Did you bring a pullover, a hoodie or something?
I brought a pullover. I don't know that I'm going to end up needing it. This is good running weather. We're going to do a long run and actually we all chat. And it's very welcome. You nailed it, Ben. You know, going from St. Louis to Tampa, the heat wave in San Diego. This is very welcome.
That's heaven.
This is very nice.
Who's on the? Yeah. Who's running?
Me. I said we. It was like a royal we.
Royal we. Okay. Because I pictured Scan and Mud.
I can see Tony. Maybe, running. Mud is not running.
Mud. You know what Mud will do on an off day? Mud will walk. Like in San Francisco on Thursday when we have an off day, I would put the over-under on the number of miles Mark Grant walks at 8.
Oh, wow.
He'll just go and walk.
I can also picture him showing you the phone and the number of steps that he has taken.
Oh, yeah.
Every
Look
single
at
time.
this. 40,000 steps.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%.
So remember that scene in Forrest Gump when he just
walks?
a run?
Yeah, remember this? Here, you've seen this.
Here, let me show you.
Against the wind in the background. Yeah. I feel like, and we probably ask you this every year when we have you on if you're in Seattle. I feel like Seattle is a Jesse Agler fave as far as the travel goes.
It's I got it as one of my favorite stops in the league. I mean, this is a great road trip. I love the Bay Area. I love Seattle. We got an off day both places. Well-earned, well-deserved off day for everybody, both stops. And, yeah, I like this weather a lot. I do. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. The San Diego thing is literally perfect most times. But, like, you know me, guys, I'm a little bit, I'm like a quiet, keep to myself. Like something about, like, the grayer skies and the cooler temperatures sort of speaks to me on a sort of metaphysical level. I don't know. So I enjoy it here very, very much. It's a great city. Great food. We stuffed a lot of sushi in our faces last night, and that's not the royal we. That was the whole group. and it's a beautiful, beautiful part of the country. I love it up here.
You know, you've expressed the challenges involved in the more balanced schedule when you're not playing divisional opponents as much. But you had a stat yesterday that I wanted you to share regarding the Padres' travel with our audience because it blew my mind.
Yeah, it blew mine too. And I'll tell you the funny thing is, so I woke up yesterday and instinctively my first thought was, because I was going to call home, I was like, all right, what time is it back home? And then I remembered I was in Seattle. And I was like, man, it feels like forever that I haven't had to figure out what time it is back home. So I pulled up the schedule. And today's game against the Mariners will be the first road game the Padres are playing in this time zone since June 5th.
It's insane.
Good God.
Every single road game has been Mountain, Central, or Eastern time for the last 2+ months.
That's grindy. And I think
3+ months.
At the beginning of the
3
year,
months.
too, Jesse, they do the thing where they chart the number of miles each team has to fly. And I want to say the Padres were very, very near the top.
They were the most.
They
Because
were
of
the
Korea,
most
they were number
because
one.
of
It's usually
Korea.
Seattle, but because of Korea, I think Padres were number one this
Woo,
year.
mama.
Yeah, the Mariners obviously get the short end of this stick, as always, because they're kind of isolated up here. But so the Padres this year are the most air miles. The Dodgers were second. Obviously, Korea is a part of that. But the crazy thing is, if the Mariners were third, and they were like right behind the Dodgers, and they didn't go anywhere. Like they're just doing their usual thing. They didn't fly across the Pacific. So that tells you what the Mariners got. Similarly, it's funny because I think with this time zone thing, the Mariners this year had their first road game in their own time zone that same day, June 5th, earlier this year. So, I mean, they went the first couple of months of the season without a road game in the Pacific time zone, and now the Padres are having one for the first time, as you said, in 3 months. I mean, that's what this schedule does. It's more trips back east. The other thing is, too, I mean, you look at the last 2 trips, right? We went to Pittsburgh and Miami, came home, then went to Cleveland. I might be getting it backwards. Well, but anyway, Cleveland and Pittsburgh were back-to-back trips. Cleveland and Pittsburgh, for those of you not familiar, they're like an hour away. But, we did those on separate trips. And then on those same trips, we had Miami and Tampa. So we had the 2 Florida stops on consecutive trips, not together. They could have bracketed Pittsburgh and Cleveland together and Tampa and Miami together, and it would have been a little bit more of a, it's just, I mean, it is the reality of this schedule. It is that because you're playing, every American League team, either home or away, you're going to end up traveling more, and it nails the West Coast teams. It really does. Much, much, much more than the other teams. I mean, here's the thing you might not realize if you're not a cartographer or you don't work in baseball, is that outside of basically the teams we consider out west, St. Louis is about as far west as you go. And St. Louis is like an hour-and-a-half flight from New York on a charter.
Wow.
So all those Eastern and Central teams are so close to one another. Like Pittsburgh to New York is a 40-minute flight. So now, the Yankees have to go to Pittsburgh every other year. No big deal. It's like going to Boston for them. So, I mean, it's just those teams are so much closer together than you realize. There is a lot of land between St. Louis and San Diego, and we fly over it quite a bit.
100%. Talking to Jesse Agler here on Ben and Woods this morning, and to the baseball at hand. We were talking earlier about the Mariners are 3 games out of a wild card right now, so they are absolutely in it. They have something to play for.
Yeah.
They've got really good pitching on the mound. On the mound the next 2 days. Their offense is not great. It's just not great. Yeah. They broke out for some runs in Petco Park, but Darvish getting on the hill tonight to try to knock some more rust off. Good offense to do it against. I think. I say that, and I know it will bite me in the ass, Jesse.
I mean, the starting pitching is going to be the thing down the stretch here, right? It always is. The offense has enough guys. Even if somebody's going cold, it does feel like there's going to be somebody else to go hot. That's sort of been the nature of this season for the Padres, and that's the point of having that kind of depth and talent, on an offensive side. Not to say they won't run into a night when, they don't get it going offensively, but, I don't know how many thousands of times I've said to you guys over the years that we've all been chatting, that it's always about pitching. It's always about pitching. And you look at the Sunday game, what led to that game going the way it did? It was that fluky sequence for Joe Musgrove in the top of the 4th inning, and it was starting pitching. And, with the bullpen that they have and the offense that they have, if they can get, adequate or above from their starters most nights, they're going to be just fine. And I mean that for both September and October. So, yeah, I mean, look, Darvish is still in a little bit of a weird spot. It's only his second one back after missing, literally the entire summer. So I'm sure they've got a plan in place, to cover that and to sort of, try and be as strategic as possible about it. And then I think it's King tomorrow. So, yeah, I mean, you got to go out and pitch. These are games on this trip that you would imagine are not going to be particularly high scoring between the ballparks. Between the pitching, as you said. So, those guys are going to have to go out there and do their thing.
Jesse, with Ha-Seong Kim continuing to slowly recover, do you anticipate, just based on kind of what you heard, any change at shortstop tonight? We've been talking about it. Mason McCoy, I talked to him last week. Really liked the kid. Played really good defense, but he struggled offensively pretty badly, and the Padres could use one more bat in the lineup, and they've got Donovan Solano and David Peralta, they can't use him every single day. What's your sense of how this is going to play out?
Yeah, I mean, the tea leaves all indicate something's going to change right now. I don't know that means it's going to be every single day. Maybe it's a matchup-based thing. Maybe it's sort of like, all right, what do we think this game is going to look like? But, all right, like let's say they do slide Bogey back over to shortstop. Let's say he's amenable to that and comfortable with that. So you're putting Cronenworth at second, Arise, Solano, whatever combination, DH and first base, maybe depending on the day. You've got then McCoy available as like a late inning defensive sub where you can maybe tighten up the defense if you've got a lead late. That's what I would imagine we're going to see at least some of. Again, just sort of based on everything we've heard. And look, the reality for Ha-Seong Kim is that the clock is ticking. It's September 10th. It's been a while now. He's still, it sounds like, not particularly close. So, whatever you decide to do, I would say, and this isn't based on inside information, this is just sort of me looking at the calendar and the situation, is that, whatever decision you make, you have to say to yourself, am I comfortable doing this in a postseason? Yep. Because the reality is at this point that it could go that way. So, you have to be, I think, to use a Mike Schilt word, very intentional about how you handle this, because it might not end up being just a stopgap thing for another 10 days. It might be something that you ride into October. So, my sense is just based on everything we've seen and heard, they're gonna play around with it. Whether that begins tonight, I would guess potentially, but no guarantee. We'll see. But yeah, I don't think there's any question that there's some stuff moving around there.
Yeah, it's hard for me to wrap my head around. If in fact Ha-Seong Kim is not able to make it back, this season, it's hard for me to wrap my head around. We may not see Ha-Seong Kim in a Padres uniform anymore, and I search my soul on how to feel. I know emotionally, I'll be really, really bummed because I really love him as a player and a person, just a great dude. He's so beloved in the clubhouse. And I got really offended when the Dodgers broadcasters called him the Padres mascot. He's not that. He's more than that. And, you never know what you're missing until it's gone. And I think this team has suffered without him, Jesse.
Look, he's a guy that has been, an everyday presence for a couple of years now. When he first got here, it's hard to remember now, but he was kind of like, a guy they would pick their spots to put him in. And then at whatever point it was, he just grabbed onto a job, and it was moving all around the infield. It was whatever's needed, but he became a guy that you had to have on the field. Obviously a fan favorite, as you said, a clubhouse favorite, a guy that brings an energy and an excitement to the thing. And this year has been a struggle for him. Yep. I feel badly for him, between injury and just not being as good, offensively in terms of the numbers, had some early defensive struggles that, were frustrating for him, I know as well. It's just one of those years and they do happen. And look, as you said, he's a free agent. So he's going to, have to decide what he wants to do. Padres are going to have to decide what they want to do. And it's just a good reminder that, there's a fragility to everything, right? I mean, it was kind of an innocuous play when he aggravated his shoulder. He's just diving in. It was a pickoff, right?
I said the same thing to Ben. I said, I've seen so much worse happen to him, I thought. Yeah, really, really tough.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's sort of one of those things that happens. But again, this is why you build depth on your roster, because you just never know when this stuff is going to happen. And the reality is this team has weathered storm after storm after storm this year. You think about all the games missed by Fernando, all the games missed by Darvish and Musgrove, all the games missed by Xander Bogaerts. That's what I was saying when Jackson fouled that ball off his knee the other day. It's like they've been dealing with stuff like that all year long. And look at the position that they're in. The reality is, I think for any team, you are very rarely going to be firing on all cylinders. If you look, like let's say the last day of spring training, you go, here's going to be our usual starting nine, right? Like based on how spring training went and what the roster looks like. I would bet for most teams, most years, those 9 guys play together like maybe 20 games all season.
For sure.
I mean, that's just the craziness of the attrition of the season.
There are teams that have 162 lineups in 162 games.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Nowadays.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed last week's Welsh-themed Incorporator. You knocked it out of the park.
It was so good.
We're going to go a little more traditional
Chick-fil-A.
today.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A, the nugget of the game.
The nugget of the game. It was fantastic.
USOB.
No, you could also work Chick-fil-A into this one, I think.
That's true.
Yeah.
You actually could.
Gentacular.
Gentacular. Never heard of it. Gentacular is I lost it.
How's it
here
spelled?
Pertaining to breakfast. Gentacular.
Does it start with a G or a J?
A J. Gentacular.
Like spectacular,
Yeah.
but gentacular.
Can you use it in a sentence?
I can't. That's your job.
I can do it.
That's gonna.
I enjoyed a gentacular sausage. Like
You probably
like it's
Will you
not
save
a
him saying that, Paul?
like a bratwurst would be more of a dinner sausage,
Yeah.
but like a one of those Jimmy Dean patties that would be a gentacular sausage.
Pancakes are gentacular to breakfast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got it.
Gentacular.
Okay. What a word.
That's a great word. It just jumped
Yeah.
off the page at me.
Before you go, Jesse, just because
Still
I've noticed.
57 degrees, by the way.
Oh, nice. I've noticed, because we're Padres fans, a somewhat of a panic in the fan base just about where they stand and, getting nervous down the stretch. I know what the math says. How do you feel confidence-wise about the Padres making the playoffs at this point?
I feel very good about it, but, look, the reality is nothing is locked in.
Sure.
It's September 10th, and I know we want to act like, I think it's very easy to feel like, there's only a week left in the season because, hey, it's this trip. It's kind of quick, only 2 games in Seattle, home for the last homestand, gone for the last week, and then that's it. And so it feels like, it's going to be over any second now. And it might end up feeling like it's over in a second, but that's still a lot of games.
It's a lot.
And there's a lot that's going to happen. And this Mets push out of nowhere is really, complicating the picture. Are the Braves going to stabilize themselves? The Padres and the Diamondbacks have those head-to-head games, which obviously could end up being gigantic, the final 3 days of the season. Look, if you did an experiment or if you did a project where you looked back at, where we were 3 weeks ago and 6 weeks ago and 9 weeks ago, it changes more than we probably realize it does. We always fall into this trap of like, okay, this is what it is today, so it's probably going to be about this the rest of the way. And then, the Padres go on their crazy streak after the All-Star break, and so do the Diamondbacks. And then now the Mets are doing their thing. And it's a really good reminder that a lot can change in not that much time. So, look, it's September 10th. That's, 19 more days between now and the end of the regular season. An awful lot can happen, good and bad, obviously. So, hey, trust this team. They've been there all year. They've played solid baseball. They've kept their noses down, and we'll see how it goes.
Enjoy your run, Jesse.
Perfect.
Perfect timing.
Nailed it.
Hour 4 next.
The best time of the year in San Diego is baseball season, and no one's more excited than we are on Annie and Elston. We know you're all America's Finest fans, so listen to America's Finest Talk Show. Annie and Elston, weekdays 10 to 2 on 97.3 The Fan.
Hey, it's Ben from Ben & Woods. Recently, you've heard me talking about the Lou Manso Advertising Agency. If your company's sales seem stagnant or in decline, if your competition is now seemingly everywhere, it might be time to get a fresh perspective from an experienced team with decades of advertising and marketing experience like the one at the Lou Manso Agency. In the last 30 years, Lou and his agency have worked on advertising campaigns for some of the world's best-known brands. Lou's decades of experience have enabled him to develop advertising strategies that have helped dozens of his clients compete All right, thanks again to Jesse Aguilar, who took us right up to the wire.
Oh, man. I hate when you do
so
that. Much.
I don't think that's Tier 1's mind. A little extra Jesse and a little less us.
That's
at the end of the hour.
your version of like.
Can we just all agree? If one of these days we have a guest on who just talks all the way to the end of the hour and we just cut it off and that's it?
No
one
good
dies.
Radio.
It's fine. Does it sound a little awkward?
Yes.
But does it mean more Jesse and more content for everybody?
You're acting
yes,
like
that's
Jesse
a win.
has a stopwatch though, where he knows exactly when to.
He doesn't
stop
have to.
his sentence.
He may still be talking. It doesn't matter. We get as much Jesse as we can in our weekly segments from Jesse.
That's Ben's version of living on the edge.
It is.
Of you're doing. That's like cocaine to you. That's what it feels like to me when you do it. My heart starts to race and I start to sweat. It's Satan Glowfish said this is like Woods' Dead Air equivalent. How much I love Dead Air.
Yeah.
You love racing
Feeling
to the
it right
butt,
to the edge.
Right to the edge. And
pushing
he's like,
it to the red line.
And we'll see how it goes.
Like the exact time, if anyone cares, is 8:55:15.
Okay.
Is when we are out. Like
8:54 he asked the question.
Hey, one last thought.
It was like 53:42. I looked at the clock and I go, we got a little over a minute and a half. I can say goodbye to Jesse now, or I can get 90 more seconds of Jesse Aguilar content. I chose 90 more seconds of Jesse Aguilar content.
Now, it worked out in this case, but usually it's, hey, sorry, we got to cut you off, which is
9 out of 10
horrible.
times, you got to cut them off mid-sentence. Be like, anyways, we're out of time. Thanks so much,
thanks
Brett
so
Boone.
much. Oh, it's the worst.
And he had a great perspective on why this race is far from over, but he remains very confident in the Padres, as do I, as do you, Woods. The confidence level in the Padres remains quite high.
Zach said, Annie and Elston did an Ask Us Anything. I was the last caller at 1:54. I didn't realize. Kept talking right up to the music. All Craig could say was, and that's our show. He felt so bad. Yeah, man. Hey, man, that's on them for taking that call.
Now, at the old station, I used to have a foot pedal, and I could just cut off anyone on the phone lines, whether it was a guest or a caller, whenever I wanted. Just push the foot pedal down and go, thanks for your answer, and let's move on. I don't have a foot pedal here.
You don't. Can we get one installed?
I kind of miss the foot pedal.
Yeah,
Engineers, is that possible that I can get one of those foot pedals?
It's just cutting off a guest with the music playing in the background is just... It's just the worst. It's just the worst of radio.
There's a lot of people supporting me in the
There
chat.
are.
They like more Jesse is a good thing.
I'm down for it. You should do the thing where you're like, Jesse, just a minute left. Right. Then I'd feel more comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's easy. A minute left here, Jesse. One more question.
Jesse's such a
Real
pro.
quick, Jesse, we got 30 seconds. Are you...
I feel like
confident?
Jesse would be more offended at me, like implying that he didn't know already. He knew that he could hear the music over. He knows how it works. He's a pro, and he ran it right up to the red line and got out. It was
not
perfect.
everybody has a radio background that we
I get
have
it,
on
and
the
sometimes I will say to those people, hey, we've only got about 2 minutes left, but in this last question, can you explain this? But I don't need to do that with Jesse.
All right.
He's too good for that.
Dub J says, do we get dinged if you go over? No. We do not get dinged.
There's no dinged. There's no punishment. No slap on the wrist. Adam doesn't.
I mean, we have commercials that have to play.
Sure, yeah.
The commercials will cut us off and they will play, and it will just be awkward.
Can I tell you the most uncomfortable thing in the history of radio is the first show I was ever on? We were in the morning, 6 to 10, and our host was like, yeah, dude, but Howard will often go long. And so Hillary would come in and sit, waiting for her shift to start at 10, and we could just go till whenever we wanted. And sometimes he'd go to like 10:30, which is terrible because you're like, I want to get out of here, number one. Like, I got things to do. We have stuff to do. And there'd be Hillary sitting, just waiting, rotting. Can you imagine we're in here? We're on a roll, Annie and Elston. Just kick back out there. I would feel like such a heel.
But that shortened her show at the end.
It did.
Right?
It did, yeah. But it was also like...
I mean, would you mind if Maggie and Perloff decided to go to 6:32 one morning? And like, I guess we're on at 6:32 now today.
Fine by me. Maggie and Perloff, take the wheel.
Foreplay with Maggie and Perloff.
I'm in. I'm here for it, buddy. Oh, it used to make me insane. It would make me so nervous because I'm like, she's got to work.
All right, Paulie, you've got exactly 9 minutes to complete a Reindl report. Good luck to you right now.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right. Hey, remember, if it goes long, just
Yeah, I don't need Ben to tell me how much time
Just
we
keep
have. 'Cause
going.
Clearly, time means nothing to
time
him.
means nothing to him.
I
Just
have
keep
no
going.
problem cutting Paulie off.
No, especially during the Reindl
Ending
Report.
the Reindl Report whenever I see fit.
All right. Well, we'll start off in the NFL, your beloved Los Angeles Rams, Benny. So last year, Puka Nacua was
great
kind of that
player.
breakout star. I mean, one of the best fantasy wide receivers.
Steal.
From what I've been told. And you're always trying to find that one guy, especially everybody plays fantasy football now, or at least, bets on the dailies and all that. You're always trying to find that breakout superstar.
Yeah, he was good for like 10, 120.
He was
and a
insane
touchdown
last
every
year.
game.
And that was with like Cooper Kupp. I don't know if he was hurt last year, but I assumed he was still there. You're like, they had a pretty damn good offense.
they had the two-pronged attack last year.
So he did not play in week 1, and it turns out that he is heading to the IR with
that's a
that
bummer.
knee injury.
Now, it's not like the old IR where you were out for the season.
Right.
He's got to miss
can
at
come
least
back.
4 games. But it's a PCL, posterior
Cruciate ligament.
Ligament, yes. So
Also the Pacific Coast League.
Also true.
he's placed on the IR with a Pacific Coast League injury. And so now everyone's trying to figure out who's going to be this year.
Who steps up?
Puka Nacua.
Probably that guy that had 2 touchdowns for the Packers that I left on the bench. Reed.
Well, I have the
I had
first.
the guy for the Chiefs on Thursday night had 2 touchdowns. Worthy had him on my bench.
Because I had the worst fantasy week, I get the first waiver claim.
Oh.
And we're looking at that guy Dortch from the Cardinals.
Edmund Dortch.
No, I forget what his first name is.
Just guessing.
He was target. I mean,
Rich Dortch.
So I drafted Marvin Harrison, and Kyler Murray would not look his way. Like
he was
I mean,
wide open.
He was wide open.
With
It
the
was like no
last play
one
of the
within
game.
20 yards. He wouldn't look at him because all he could do is stare at this Dortch guy and just keep throwing him the ball over and over again. So figured I better take Dortch in case that continues and no one throws Marvin Harrison a ball all
Greg
season.
Dortch, Adam says.
Greg
I'm going
Dortch,
to take
yep.
his.
Greg Dortch.
You're in the Dorcher chamber. Welcome to the Dorchers. Welcome to the
Every
Dorcher
single time
chamber.
I'm watching Red Zone with my son, who's my co-GM, and we're going,
Co-GM my ass. He is
He's
your
my
GM.
And it's like, okay, they're going to
Ran
throw
your
it to
whole
Marvin.
draft.
Every play, they'd line up and they go, okay, where's Marvin Harrison? He's lined up on the near side. And they go and he'd drop back and he'd throw it to Dortch every time. It's like, why did you draft Marvin Harrison? You're gonna throw. He's this little bub, and they just keep throwing it to Dortch.
The Dorcher
Kyler,
chamber.
look for your number 1 draft pick.
Ben is spitting right now. He's so mad. He's spitting mad. The
This is why
Dorcher, the
I have not
Dorcher
done
chamber
fantasy football in years.
is elite.
It's just painful every week.
Welcome to the Dorcher chamber. Dorch. So you're going to go after Greg Dorch today?
Yes, I believe so.
So now you have both receivers.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Let's cover it both ways.
So yeah, Nacua, he did start that game for the Rams. He had aggravated the knee in preseason, and then I heard it in the second quarter and was out for the rest of the game. Everyone was wondering, is he going to come back in? He is out. And then I was reading that he injured it originally back in August in a joint practice with the Chargers. And I've never, I don't really care because I don't really care about the NFL, but I've never understood the idea of the joint practice.
It's good in theory.
In theory, I understand on paper, it sounds like, we're going to get some good competition. They always result in fights.
Somebody getting hurt.
Somebody gets hurt. I would never want to do that if I was the head coach of the NFL.
I am changing my fantasy name right now, just so you know. That's what I'm
Dorcher
doing on my phone. The Dorcher chamber.
Don't you need to have him on your
No.
team to be called the Dorcher Chamber?
Nope.
That would probably be my new fantasy football team name.
Dorcher.
All right. I'm going to try my best to explain this last story. It's a little bit visual. If you're
You sent-
watching on YouTube, this is going to be great for you.
If you're on the radio.
But I think it still works because we have talked about the Sphere in Las Vegas a ton over the last year.
Oh, the Sphere. I thought you said the Fear in Las
Sphere.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
The Sphere, the MSG Sphere.
Love the
Woods
Sphere.
went inside U2 about a year ago, right?
Incredible, yeah.
Last
around a year
October?
ago.
Yeah.
Yep, October.
So by now you've probably seen the Sphere and the Sphere technology. I want to talk about this new company called Cosm. 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 They have 2 locations currently, Los Angeles and Dallas.
Here in Dallas.
Here in Dallas. Good. Now, I had never heard of this until I saw some videos over the weekend. It is a small MSG Las Vegas sphere-like theater and bar and restaurant and all that, where you can go and watch a sporting event. They were watching college football. You can watch the U.S. Open. I think they're going to expand to like UFC fights and other big sporting events. It looks like you're on the field at the game.
It looks like you're in the stands, yeah?
It looks like you're front row on the rail looking out at the field. It's unbelievable. I'm showing it here on our YouTube stream. I apologize for everybody that's listening on the radio right now. But again,
just trust us. It's very cool.
You've seen the Sphere. Now imagine that technology.
Everyone's been to an IMAX. It's like an IMAX theater, but instead of just theater seats, there's like tables and chairs, and it looks like.
But this is like a field view. You're like,
you're sitting down on the field. Like,
I mean, it looks like you are at the back of the end zone.
It's like a live IMAX camera of the game,
it's
so
really
you can
cool.
sit there and look like you're actually in the stadium
badass.
watching in front of you.
It is the future of sports
It's
watching.
badass.
It's unbelievable. I would hope that they'll eventually expand to most major markets. I was looking at like how much does this cost? I think I was able to find like seats for like $125 a person. So it's expensive.
But
this is brand new technology. This is the very, very start of it all. Now, most, I would say just about everybody, if you have a TV, it's probably a 1080p television at the very least. The nice ones, maybe you have one, maybe you've seen them at Costco or Best Buy, the 4K, right? That crystal clear definition. These are 8K technology screens.
God.
It's a lot of Ks.
It looks pretty cool. It looks
pretty
good. It's a good play. The only thing I don't know, I like the table area. I was going to say, I don't want to go to a theater and sit in a theater seat and be like, oh my God, look at that slider from Joe Musk. I like to be up and move around. I don't want to sit in a theater chair to watch a baseball game or a football game.
Right.
But the tables, like you're standing around a table like you're in a bar, but it feels like
it
you're
looks
on the
like
field.
the angle changes a little bit.
Yeah,
Sometimes
it does.
it's on the sideline. Sometimes you're in the end zone if it's coming towards you.
I don't know if that's predetermined.
Yeah,
or
I don't know.
You're
Is there
gonna
one?
have
I mean,
an
how
end
many
zone
cameras
view.
do they have at these games? Because obviously they need special.
It looks like you're at the big
to
house.
deliver this.
It's cool.
It's really cool, and it's a little bit like almost like virtual reality minus the big. Everyone doesn't have to wear the big headsets. I don't know. I saw
the
that, I was
goggles.
like, yeah, the goggles.
No, it looks cool.
I saw that. I was like, that is unbelievable. And look, I'd love to experience that.
Just got a alert on my phone.
Uh-oh.
This is on my watch. Pumpkin spice season is here. Discover
it's been here for
flavors of fall snacks and more. I guess it's from Amazon. Yeah, it was from Amazon, letting me know. Pumpkin spice.
You can
it
get
is
a pumpkin.
96
You could have gotten
degrees.
You could have gotten a pumpkin spice latte 2 weeks ago.
It's 96
There's
degrees
Christmas
outside.
trees at Costco now.
That's fair.
Christmas trees.
All right, finally, I did tease this earlier in the show. We were talking about the Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson, and everything that's going on with him. This has nothing to do so much with Deshaun Watson and the allegations against him, but saw a video going around. It's an audio clip. Cleveland
great.
Sports Talk Radio yesterday. It's one of my favorite things that we do. Hey, let's check in after a crushing loss or something. Let's check in on the other markets. This is from 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland. Our buddy Andy Baskin works there, or used to work there at least, and they're an Odyssey station, and they took some calls
out of the chute
on Monday morning following the Browns' loss to, who did they lose?
Cowboys.
To? Dallas. And it went about as well as you can expect.
216-474-0092. You ready to go to the phones?
Sure.
All right. Dave in Macedonia, you're first up on the Fan. Hello.
Good morning, boys.
All right.
He's quoting Daniel Caffey. Please. There's two numbers. You'll figure them out. 42.9, 144.
What is all this?
Watson's quarterback rating, Mayfield's quarterback rating.
Oh, Christ. I can't do this
Hold
for
on.
one more second. No, that's enough. That's enough. The first call out of the box, we're going to do this. The very first call of the box, we're going to do this. No. I know what his quarterback rating was. I know that he was good. Guys, I'm not doing it right out of the damn box. Can I have a little bit of time before we do this? Can I have a little bit of time? That he ain't coming home. He ain't coming back. Only to play us. That's it. He had a great day down there. Congratulations on all his success. I can't undo the trade. I can't undo it. You ready to go to another one?
Go ahead. Yes. What would the comp be?
I was trying to think of it like,
It's like Trey Turner. This guy calls in. He's like, "Hey, Ben and Woods, -1 and 6. You'll figure it out. What are we talking about? Mason McCoy's war and Trey Turner's war." And me just, are you out of your mind?
Quarterback rating.
Oh, Christ. I can't do this for one more second.
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
Bryce Johnson's war, Juan Soto's war.
Right. Oh, really?
We can't undo the trade.
We're doing this. We also got Michael King back. Johnny Burrito. Well, all right, I'll give you that. Higgy's 16 bombs.
I'm not going there.
We can't do this.
I don't think
First call.
you don't need to convince anyone in Cleveland that this Deshaun Watson thing is going poorly.
It is the crappiest part of this job is that sometimes you're like, I know you want to vent. I'm also frustrated, but he's not coming back here. Why are you calling to tell me this? I can't do anything about it. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. You just can't do it. I relate and sympathize with those guys.
Yeah.
Hey, fellas, how are you? 49.2, 149.8. You'll figure it out. Okay?
You'll know where I'm going.
Yeah, you'll know where I'm going. Well, what are we talking about? Yeah.
There's two numbers. You'll figure them out. 42.9, 42.9, 144.
What is all this?
Watson's quarterback rating. Mayfield's quarterback rating.
Oh, Christ. I can't do this for one more second.
It's so good. It is so good. So very good. Thank you, Paulie, for that.
Paulie.
It's brilliant.
Christ. The San Diego Padres just made an announcement.
Ooh.
About something that I get tons of questions about all year long.
Is it a concert?
No, it's not a concert, but you are thinking along the right lines. I will share with you when we come back, and we're going to give away some concerts. Actually, you know what? Let's do it right now, because I forgot yesterday, and I feel bad.
We got tickets to Parker McCollum.
Pair of tickets to Parker McCollum and Calco's Credit Union Open Air Theater on October 25th. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com, or win them now.
833-288-0973.
Are we going to do this?
You'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out.
We're not. Are we going to do this? Yeah, we're giving away the tickets right now. 833-288-0973. Back after traffic on 97.3 The Fan. Ooh, just got the text. They've been jackhammering in our neighborhood since 8:30 this morning. That's always fun. What's the earliest time that you really should be allowed to do yard work / road work in a neighborhood?
3 p.m.
I know you have constant
Practically bedtime for you.
blowers around your neighborhood.
It's start and stop all day.
Now,
never stop.
On a weekday?
Weekend, weekday, doesn't matter.
You know,
9 a.m.
Depends where you live. If you live downtown, you're going to expect noise all the time.
You're dead, dude.
You got traffic, you got concerts, you got things going on, including what I just teased. It's back. The Padres just announced that the Lynx at Petco Park are returning November 22nd through December 1st later this year. Going to do the old 9-hole thing out on the field at Petco Park with tee boxes all over the stadium, which is really cool. People always ask me, are the Padres bringing it back? I want to do that. It's been very hard to get reservations in the past because they fill up so quickly. Tomorrow, tee times will be able to book Wednesday, September 11th. Padres season ticket members will have access to special premium preferred tee times beginning at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And then Friday at September 13th as well. And they're going to do they're going to replicate well-known holes around the country. And I don't think they're allowed to use the names of the courses, but they said the Floral Fairways of Georgia. So
I love that.
Augusta National.
Beating around the bush.
The biggest party hole in the Arizona desert. So the stadium hole at the Waste Management Open.
Good.
I can say it, even if they can't.
Can you imagine if we had to talk in code like that
all
for
the time?
everything?
Across the pond where golf originated in Scotland.
Okay.
So the old course at St. Andrews. And they're going to make the greens look like the same as the greens on those courses, apparently.
It is so effing hard. I was so bad at it.
It's not easy. Even as a golfer like me, it's tough.
It's fun, though.
It is. There's something cool about standing like in the upper deck of Petco and hitting a golf
seeds
ball.
out there. You're like, oh my God. When's the actual...
Again, it's November 22nd through December 1st.
Okay. I'd like to get out there this year.
I've done it like 3 times. It has been fun every time.
Didn't you dress as a caddy for me?
No.
Or somebody did. Ben did?
No, I did not.
Yeah, we did a caddy bit, I think. Maybe I made Hammer.
Previous show?
No,
or
maybe.
Hammer, maybe?
I think Hammer did. Are you sure?
Positive.
Hmm.
We've only gone once.
We've gone
as a
once.
show.
I think it was
back
right
at the
when we
old
got
station.
here. Oh, it was the old station?
Yeah.
I swear somebody did a caddy bit. No. All right. Well, it's a fun time. It's really, really fun.
Yeah.
You'll enjoy it.
The segment I've been
Make Adam your caddy.
Oh.
Would you need a fourth?
I think I hang out with him the whole time.
He's your caddy. You can tell him to shut up.
That's true.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please.
I'm begging you.
Maybe you need one of those signs when he walks in.
I'm begging you
Quiet,
to stop
please.
talking to me. I'm begging you.
Yeah, 5-iron, huh? You're fired.
You're fired.
The segment on Ben and Woods is brought to you by Indeed. Need to hire? You need Indeed. If you're looking for a caddy, maybe. Their end-to-end solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all year round. Schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from your Indeed dashboard. Learn more by visiting Indeed.com/credit. So yesterday, got a minute here, my son was like, it's so hot out. I want to go out and do something.
Yeah.
It didn't have anything going. And I said, just do what we did growing up. Go to an indoor mall. Walk around.
Walk
He
for
goes,
some
really?
ex-
He
wait.
says, we even have, just, go like window
Just go
shopping.
cruise
Just
the
go
mall.
cruise the mall.
Yeah.
We used to do that like every week. He says, is there an indoor mall? I said, yeah, go to North County Fair or Westfield, North County, wherever they call it now. And drive out to Escondido.
That's
and
one
it's
exit
like-
away from me. Yeah.
It's by the...
It's right off by
San
Lake
Pasquale.
Hodges
Yep.
there. Yeah, San Pasquale. It's the one right off the freeway. Went there a million times when I was a kid. Indoor mall on a hot day. They got air conditioning. You
You
can
got
go
Orange
around.
Julius there.
And
Mrs.
I mean,
Fields.
how many times would you go to the mall
Every day.
growing up? Like all
We
the
went
time.
every single
Every
day after school. Yeah, there was one you could
Okay.
walk to from our high school and our middle school.
We
So
did at
would-
least like weekly or
Yeah,
a
weekly.
bunch of times. The movie theater was there. You'd go to the mall. My kids grew up in a different era. People don't go to the mall like they used to anymore.
K Cheeks, the Jets' old head activities. Yeah, 100%.
Exactly. Well, so my son goes and then he calls me. I'm at work and he says, "Yeah, I just went to the mall. This was It was really fun. He said, I walked around. They had all these cool stores. I checked out
You're
this
like,
comic
it's
book
a
store.
mall,
He
yes.
I got a free pretzel
He goes,
from
they have
Auntie
this
Anne's.
store called Lids where they just sell hats. He bought a
my
pot.
God.
I go, yeah, that's at the mall.
You're at the mall.
It's at the mall. He
They
got a
have
really
apples. It's
store.
unbelievable. Dad, you're never going to believe all the stuff they have in
It's
here.
the mall.
I went to this place. Let me tell you, it's called the Sharper Image.
I mean, they had a place that sold
What's,
cookies. I had
Spencer Gifts.
I had Chinese food and then cookies and then an Orange Julius. The same. Yeah, we lived it. It was the thing to do. Mom, you dropped me off at the mall.
Now they want anything. There's Amazon. They just
Like,
order it. There's
From
no
middle
more
school
going to
on,
the mall.
that was the thing. Middle school on, a group of girls were going to the mall. You're like,
you
let's go.
You
Let's
put on like your best gear. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, let's go to the mall.
He actually did. He showed me his hat. It was a 1978 Padres logo hat within the 1978 All-Star patch from the game at Jack Murphy Stadium on the side. It was really, really cool hat he got himself from this store called Lids.
Where do kids congregate now?
I don't know.
Where do they go?
Xbox
Online.
Live.
Yeah, it's just online.
Yeah, we went to the movies. We went to, restaurants and tortured those poor people, and the mall was just the biggest
We
place.
had a Red Robin right next to the mall that I went to, and I mean, we would just those poor waitresses.
I do love the idea of any person stepping outside their comfort zone and then being amazed by the things that we have all come to know as like, yeah, dude, what did you think was going to happen? It's the same thing with like, if I took Bo to the mall, he'd have the same reaction of like, oh my God, there's an arcade. Oh my God, there's a Benihana. There's this. That's so good. So now he's gonna be mall guy. He'll be hanging out at the mall all the time.
Absolutely.
I
don't know.
That's got to be like the only indoor mall though
In San Diego, yeah.
'cause
I mean, for a hot day, I was trying to think. There's the one in El Camino Real, I guess. There's one as well, but
There's one right by Dave and Buster's, off the 78. That's a mall. It's an indoor mall.
Oh
What's it
yeah.
called?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's the same one, El Camino Real.
Texas de Brazil in there.
it's Parkway Plaza, indoor or outdoor. I'm not sure.
I think it's indoor.
It's indoor. Yeah.
A couple.
Yeah. Parkway Plaza.
I just know, growing up in Washington, wet and rainy Seattle,
You
every
hang at the mall.
schools, malls, everything was completely indoors, just giant buildings. And then I moved down to San Diego and I go to like Fashion Valley and I'm like, wow, there's palm trees
All
and
outside.
everything is outdoors. I'm like, oh yeah, it makes sense.
Didn't we eat at the mall when we went to Arizona, or just me and you did? Me
I
and
think
you went
you
to
two went.
We
I
went
was-
to Dick's, and they were like, let's
we had
eat
to-
in the food court.
Yes. We had to get
So
some
good.
gear at Dick's
Yeah.
and then we went and got like Mongolian grill. or
Mongolian
something.
barbecue. Ben would never eat
I mean,
at the
I should
mall.
know that I don't take
did.
my son to the mall, but I just hadn't realized how inexperienced he was with malls.
We had Mongolian grill at Fashion Valley.
Yeah, we did.
A couple months
We
ago.
actually did. We did.
Ben was with us.
Yep. All right.
That's right.
Let's wrap it up.
That's an outdoor mall, though.
Yes.
All right, we will get one final segment, and we can fully look ahead. Padres, just a short 2-game series in Seattle, but very important that they don't let the winning streak or losing streak continue and reach 3 or 4 here. So big games coming up tonight. And tomorrow night, we'll look ahead when we come back with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Woods has been a little out of sorts today. Didn't get much sleep last night.
15
Was
minutes
here
of
at
sleep.
4 o'clock in the morning at work.
Stupid.
What did you do from like 4 to 5 when Paul doesn't get here until 5? I don't get here until 5:30. So you were here for a full hour just by yourself. No one else in the building?
Nobody. It's only one.
Picturing you doing like Tom Cruise and sliding along the floors and
Oh no, I was not in here having fun. I was digging on the internet to see if there was anything worthwhile. I don't do any prep the night before ever.
Right.
So
I do all my prep the night before. And that's what I was picturing.
I can't
Down the hallway.
Yeah.
Of Odyssey.
Me, just my shirt off or my shirt on, my underwear. No, I paid some bills, set some fantasy teams, poked around the internet, sighed to the heavens, that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's been a long day already. Been up since 2:30, by the way. Oof, brutal.
So you were at home for a good hour before you even left.
Yeah.
For here.
Yeah, I'd made some breakfast.
So I get up, and I probably am in the car within 15 minutes tops of after I get up.
A shower.
And I'm here. Shower.
I'm about
breakfast.
30 to 40 minutes from like waking up, getting out of bed to getting in the car. It's about 30, 40 minutes.
Everyone wants to shout out to Plaza Mall. The shout out, Plaza Mall.
Shout out SD.
Shout out SD. So we didn't give South Bay any love.
I said Parkway Plaza, or is that a different
It's a
mall?
different
is there a
mall.
Is it just a Plaza Mall?
Yeah. Shout out.
So
Plaza,
what, Paul,
Plaza Bonita.
Plaza Bonita.
That's
means
beautiful plaza.
Beautiful plaza. Very
Yeah,
good.
thank you.
So what do you do in the morning, Paulie? Do you shower or no?
Sometimes,
No, you
but
guys
usually
don't
not.
shower.
I usually
I
shower
don't.
the night before.
I always shower before I go to television, not radio. Makes more sense.
So you shower at like 1 in the afternoon.
Like 2 in the afternoon.
2 in the
yeah.
afternoon. And that's it.
Yes, like most normal people, I shower once a day.
Most
Bathe
normal
one
people
time.
shower twice a day.
I usually work out Peloton around 1 and then shower after I Peloton because I'm all hot and sweaty and then have to get into my TV clothes.
You have a different schedule.
I do.
If I went to the gym at like 11, got home at 12:30,
You gotta shower
I would
again.
shower immediately.
Yep.
And I'd probably still shower
Later
again
in the
later
day.
at night before bed.
2 showers a day.
Yeah, I'm a 2-shower day.
Really?
Yeah. Also wash my feet.
I've started trying to wash my feet.
How's it working
Yeah,
for
Not
you?
bad.
I'm proud of you.
I've been able to. Well, I think now that I've lost some weight and I've gotten worked out more,
You can bend down more?
Well, I can hold my core enough to balance on one foot and bring the foot up high enough.
The fact that you couldn't before
where I can actually
is a ringing
reach it.
endorsement for SD Fat
It is,
Loss.
isn't it?
That's incredible.
Yeah, I could not do
See that?
this move before, but now
Look at you. You're like a yogi.
now I can actually step up one.
You hear his hip pop out of socket live on the air.
More flexible than I used to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a 2-shower a day guy. Sorry about that. Somebody said that's why we're in a water crisis. I'm doing my part. I'm doing the best I can.
I don't think we are anymore, are we?
I don't know.
I mean, we could always go back to one, but we had a lot of rain the last couple of years. All right, let's check traffic, and then we'll check ahead to the series against the Mariners one last time before we turn things over to Annie and Elston here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Got a handful of problems wrapping up our morning drive. Westbound King Freeway at Bancroft, 2 right lanes and Bancroft off-ramp are blocked, all due to a vehicle that went over the side. Looks like some fuel leaking there as well. So just watch out for a little confusion. Westbound King Freeway at Bancroft. Also traveling on eastbound 8 before College. There's a collision with clearing stage. Westbound 8 just before the 805. Accident involving a couple vehicles there in the center divide. Eastbound 52 near the 15. Collision involving a couple vehicles. That's over the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I think ultimately for me, splitting the next 2 games in Seattle is fine.
It's a must.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's not a must, but it's certainly, if they lose the next 2 games, the losing streak hits 4,
Yeah.
I will start
Panic.
getting a little worried.
Yeah. I said 3 games would be my panic mode.
And if they win the next 2 games, I will feel eminently confident about where this season is headed. And if they split, which is what I'm expecting, fine, you move
Sure.
forward.
Yeah, you move forward, you
to
cross
the next
2 off the
series.
list.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
get closer to the end of the season. Obviously, you're following what the other teams do, and obviously scoreboard watching for help. But take care
So
of your
you're
own
expecting
business.
a split?
Yeah,
I think so.
I'm expecting a split.
I'm expecting you are a better team. They should win both games.
They have better starting pitching.
They have won more games than they have lost this year.
Michael King's coming off a dominant start.
Yeah. Brian Wu and George Kirby are pretty. I don't know what Wu's numbers are. I checked.
They're both pretty good.
Yeah,
but
of course, if you're comparing directly to you,
but they have. They have
if you
the
can
best.
give you if you can give us 5 good innings tonight, and then Michael King builds off of what he just did in his last start and what he's done most of the season.
Yeah, but you got to score.
It's comparable enough that
you got to score off of 2 really good pitchers. So, and that's they do have a really good offense when it's clicking on all cylinders, and I would say that it hasn't really been clicking on all cylinders, except for maybe once they get down a little bit. So I think it's important to try to get to these guys as early as you can. Obviously, it's a no-brainer. But, they actually said, somebody came out, and I can't remember if it was Player or if it was Schulte, that was like, it would be nice to prove that we can get a lead, add to it, and hold on instead of always playing the other way. Oh, we're down 2. Again, when they get down 2, I don't panic. When they get down 4, I don't panic. When they get down 5 in the third, I don't panic.
Well, sure used to.
They've got it in them, right? And I did too. I would sometimes turn the game off in the 5th inning and go, this is a waste of my time.
It's been a revelation this
year. It has been
to not
incredible, yes. And so I do think they need to prove that they can win the other way some as well. So I think tonight's a good chance to do it.
You made a good point earlier in the show about how the Seattle Mariners have a lot to play for.
They do.
Now,
3 games back.
I had kind of gotten into the habit of just looking at the AL West. They're 4.5 games behind Houston, who's played so well. They blew that 10-game lead over the Astros, and they weren't really in the AL wildcard race. But all of a sudden, we've been so focused on the NL wildcard race. The AL wildcard race has gotten a little bit interesting. It always had been either the Orioles or the Yankees, whoever was in second in the AL East. Right now it's the Orioles who've been struggling a little bit. The Yankees have first place, so the Orioles lead the wildcard race. They're comfortable, though, 5.5 up. Then it's the Royals, 2.5 up. The Twins, though, have lost 4 in a row, and all of a sudden they're only 8 games above 500 and only 3 games ahead of a trio of teams, including the Seattle Mariners. Also, the Detroit Tigers and the Boston Red Sox, who now look at that and go, hey, guys, 3 weeks, 3 games. That's a game a week. We are absolutely in this race. So Seattle comes into this week going, we need to make up a game on the Minnesota Twins this week. So they're looking for sweeps. They're looking for a winning streak. They would love to build a little bit of momentum in these 2 games against a team they already swept 2 games at Petco Park earlier this year. So,
yeah, and you got, they added Randy Arozarena, who has not had a good season at all. They still have Julio Rodriguez, but a guy like Randy Arozarena, Benny, who has been through it, he has been in these huge, huge, huge moments. This turning of the calendar to September for guys like that have shown on the biggest stage, yeah, man, they scare you. Julio Rodriguez has not had a great season. Is he capable of doing massive amounts of damage? Yes. I'm not trying to doom out here or spin out. I think that we can get the job done, certainly. But they're going to have to be, and this was great, man. Our buddy Letters to AJ had a new blog that launched this morning. I'll just read you the very last part of it. The Padres had a merciful day off Monday, a day for reflection, a day to prepare, a day to anticipate the moments that will surely find them, in which they have agency to make a choice to seize some extra slivers of win probability. They're going to need every bit they can get. Perhaps they've evaluated everything above and determined the process was impeccable. There was no room for improvement. Things just didn't go their way. Good analysis will sometimes lead to the conclusion that nothing could have been done better. So, again, clean baseball, hard baseball, the way you've played all season long. And again, these are the types of pitchers you're going to be going up against in October should you make it. The George Kirbys of the world and the Brian Wu. Brian Wu's.
But the Padres haven't really, I'm not saying they have had dominated the great pitchers.
No, but they've definitely played well against them. They elevate their game sometimes.
Because they're good at putting the ball into play. Yep. What makes those good pitchers usually so dominant is they get so much swing and miss, it's hard to put together rallies. Padres, whether they're playing the guy with the 7 ERA or the guy with the 2.5 ERA, they're going to do their thing. They're going to put balls in play. Some days they will find holes. Some days they don't find holes. But it doesn't seem like there's that big of a difference for the Padres on who they're facing. It's more about the Padres and the swings they're taking than the pitchers that they're facing a lot of days.
And let's talk about how the ball this season has bounced in our favor way more than it hasn't. But you start to see some weird things happening. The ball lost in the sun. 10 straight balls from Dylan Cease. Joe Musgrove giving up 7 hits in a row. A walk-off grand slam, or not a walk-off grand slam, a 2-strike, 2-out grand slam from a 9-hole hitter that the exit velo was lower than the pitch speed. You know what I'm saying? It started to feel a little bit. Tyler Wade getting picked off. Things like that where you go.
But it's our construction that gives these things
merit.
Not merit. I mean, things they have had good breaks, and now they've had some bad ones. But there's no reason that those continue in cycles or streaks or anything. Just because you've had some bad breaks doesn't mean you're in a bad rut. And just because things are going well doesn't mean it can't turn on a dime the next day and you have a bunch of bad luck. That's in our minds. We try to put it together going, oh, they're on a really good, hot, lucky streak. Well, no. I mean, yeah, they just had some good things happen to them. That has no bearing on what's going to happen today. They could get all the breaks in the world today, or everything could go against them today. That is irrelevant to what happened, at least in my mind, in the last couple of weeks. Now, there's some making of your own luck, and, you lose a little confidence in yourself when things go bad, and then all of a sudden now you're causing bad things to happen. That's a little different than just random baseball stuff.
Well, we had
occurring.
that. There was a lot of that going on at the beginning of the year. A lot of causing bad things to happen.
And last year
was atrocious. But beginning of this year,
just a snowball of bad luck turning into pressing and bad play.
Well, remember at the beginning of this year, remember the fatal errors? 6-hopper booted happens. Next guy 2-run homer. Running into outs all over the place, like horrible base running, terrible decision making. Then it stopped. It felt like almost completely for a good 6-week period. And lo and behold, they won a ton of games in that time. So I think just win on the margins, pick up the extra base when you can. Devil's in the details, as Mike Schilt likes to say, and play good, clean baseball. Let the chips fall where they may. You got a real challenge with their starting pitching, certainly, but like Paulie mentioned, you've got a couple of guys that are pretty good too. So really looking forward to watching you pitch tonight. Hopefully, it goes better for him than it did the last time, and he can command the zone a little bit.
Trying to look back, I mean, the Padres have yet to have a week. Have they, in which they've lost more games than they've won since the All-Star break?
Not in the second half, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think the worst week they've had is 3-3.
Right.
Since the All-Star break.
Pretty damn good.
It's pretty good baseball.
Yep.
For an extended period of time. Now, are they as hot as they were in the first month since the All-Star break? No, of course not. Nor were they ever going to stay that hot from late July all the way through October.
And it's fine. Like, you can have a little bit of a down period. It's a great time to get hot again.
This is what we said in the first half of the year.
Yeah, just get hot.
Hey, minimize those down cycles.
Yep.
We said, instead of losing 5 in a row, just turn those into 3-3 weeks.
Sure, absolutely.
That's exactly what they've done the second half of the season. They had their hot stretch, and now in their cooler stretch, they've turned it into just 500 play.
Yep.
That's what we wanted. So let's not complain about it yet until they give us a reason to complain about something. I'm going to hold off on all complaints.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not going to over panic till they lose 3-4 in a row. So, I mean, they've lost 2 at the most. Two's their losing streak since the All-Star break. So let's get them tonight. Take it to them. Come in here with a fun, positive show tomorrow. Hopefully well rested.
Kiss the roach?
Yeah, I got it right here.
This is your last chance, you stupid.
Don't let me
Don't do this.
A little roach pressure. All right, Annie and Elston are coming up next. We will be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for executive producer, imaging director Paul Reindl, for Stephen Woods, already off the YouTube stream. I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. From all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.